Hello and welcome back for the 2023 MLQ season. We are here in the capital of the United States to kick it off with our first series of the week, an absolute classic, a rivalry match, and one that is going to have a lot to say about how the East Division is going to play out. I'm Ethan Sturm, on the call alongside Nick Jablonski. Nick, we saw last year Washington came in with all the expectations to New York, and New York shut the door in a hurry. 2 straight wins, took the series, they dropped the third one, but that was kind of all she wrote for Washington when it came to a chance at an East Division title. The roles are kind of swapped this year. What do you make out of this matchup?
Yeah, I think New York has everything to prove. A lot of these players are coming off of a USQ Nationals title, and I think that means that they are coming out here as arguably the favorites, right? We thought this is probably on paper the second best team in the league this year, and I think that Washington is coming out here with something to prove, and I think they're going to do it. Brand new coaching staff this year. Super exciting to see how this team progresses, and we're going to start to see that today.
Yeah, and obviously, we don't like to talk about who isn't here. We like to talk about who is. But obviously, Lindsey Morella not available for the Titans today. A big absence, Team USA player, arguably one of the best wing chasers in the entire world. Nick, talk about some of the players who are going to be filling her shoes today.
Yeah, you're going to see Molly Potter put in a lot of work, I think, for this team. Molly Potter has kind of lived in Lindsey Morella's shadow. I don't think that's necessarily rightfully so. Molly Potter is an offensive threat at all times on the field. She has a great shot, she is great off ball, and she's very composed when she does get the ball, so you can't really pressure her nearly as aggressively as you normally would to some of these off-ball chasers that we're going to see.
Yeah, and across the way, the Admirals, like we said, if you call it a disappointing season, I think it's hard to make that argument. They were one game away from knocking out the eventual champions, the Austin Outlaws, in the quarterfinals. But in quad ball, history is really written by the winners. We tend to forget those teams who didn't get there on the final day of a given season. This team, you fell in love with this team's offense coming out of COVID in 2021. You were a little bit more dismissive of it in 2022. This year, under new management, Keegan Remy Miller taking the reins as a non-playing head coach. What are you expecting from this Admirals team? What are you hoping to see from this Admirals team?
I'm hoping to see an aggressive team. I'm hoping to see a team that comes out here and plays to win and doesn't. A lot of times we see teams, especially if they come out early on, they kind of play not to lose. I don't want to see this team play not to lose. I want to see this team play to win. I want to see this team use that passing that we saw 2 years ago where they're just flying up and down the field, especially with no resets now. This team needs to be moving the ball better than ever, and I think that they have a chance to do that. And I want to see that. I want to see aggressive beating from this team. This team, we talk a lot about the beaters and how they define this sport. This team's beater core has largely been written off a lot in the past, and you and I aren't so sure that should be the case anymore. I want to see them come out and make their stamp on the field right away.
Yeah, obviously one absence, Colin Bourne, not playing yet. I think coming back from an injury, is the team's beater coach, dressed up in his finest apparel, ready to go. Across the way, when we're talking beaters, 3 big names right now with Rachel Ayala Silver still not back with the team. Present but not playing. We're talking Tate K, we're talking Devin Lee, and we're talking Tessa Mullins. The 3 of them have only played in New York together for basically one tournament because Tate K was coming in late last year off an injury. Devin Lee didn't play USQ. In that tournament, this beater core was dynamic. This team was within a couple goals of taking them out. Sorry about that. Within a couple goals of taking down Austin, much like Washington. Talk to me a little about those beaters and what you expect to see of them out of the gate.
I expect to see a lot of what we saw last year. They're all incredibly aggressive beaters. They're all incredibly confident beaters. I expect to see them. We talked about wanting to see Washington assert their spot on the field. I expect New York to do the same. I think this is going to be an electric game. I think we're going to see a lot of crazy beating. I think we're not going to see so many beaters in their shells. I think we're going to see a lot of people out on the pitch in places we haven't seen in years.
Yeah, and hey, the MLQ rulebook is kind of pushing people more towards that. There are no resets anymore in Major League Quad Ball. You bring the quad ball back over half pitch once, that is a turnover. The press is going to be stronger than ever. It's going to be interesting to see how strategy plays out. Last year, the Titans came out in a mark defense, a high mark defense against Washington, took them completely out of their game. Even though you could argue mark defense is a solved defense in quad ball, Washington wasn't prepared and it threw them off. Do you think we might see that from New York again, or do you think things will be a little more mixed up?
I think with a non-playing coach, I think they're going to have to mix things up. I think we might see it early on, see if Washington can solve it, which we know they can. But with a non-playing coach, I think it's going to be easier to call that out and make that adjustment more quickly. But if I'm New York, it worked last year. Let's see if they can do it, right? If they get 2 quick goals off of it, maybe you mix things up. But if it's working, let's keep working.
Yeah, and in the qualifier game, I mean, each of these teams can put in basically an entire Team USA line out there. I think those names are known. There's some younger talent, though, that I think is going to be key differences in this game. A couple players I want to highlight on the Washington side, TJ Jennerett and Zan Siddiqui. TJ graduated UMD a year ago, was playing with DCQC. Zan Siddiqui still with the UVA program. They're both extremely athletic. Siddiqui was playing crazy minutes for that UVA team. Great point defender. TJ Jennerett, one of the toughest players to stop in the open field, and is a very good seeker. They're going to make a difference in this series.
I totally agree. I think that we're going to see, we'll cut to the field in a second here, but TJ Jennerett is starting for this team, and that's something you and I have wanted to see for a long time.
Yeah, it's really interesting as we're going to go over starting lineups. This is a very different look from the Admirals. It looks like they could be, starting to mix up a little bit what the lines that we've so used to seeing from this team. Tyler Trudeau will get the start at keeper. It's going to be Riley Stars, TJ Jennerett, and Julie Neutzel getting the starts alongside. Diana Howard is going to be one beater, and I believe Bernie Burgess coming on the field to be the other beater. It's going to be the starting lineup for Washington. Across the field for New York, John Jackson starts in the white headband with Mike Lee in the green headband. A lot of talk lately about position names and what they mean. We assume that means Mike Lee will be the point defender here, and John Jackson will be playing at the hoops. Emily Hickmott and Yanko will get the start as well. And it's Phil Kane and Frank Minson starting at beater. I think that might be more of a run-up type situation than an actual starting pair.
Yeah, and we're talking a lot about position names and what they mean. Tyler Trudeau, a hoops defender primarily, is wearing the green headband. So I think Washington might want to come out in a high mark series, or maybe some sort of strange press right off the bat, just to see if they can fluster this New York team, which has traditionally played a much more conservative offense.
Yeah, and all these players, off a full season of USQ with altered brooms up. The traditional brooms up has not been run in a while. I saw Riley Stars kind of practicing his run up because it's going to be the first one in a while, and it's going to be a great way to start this season. Great game of weekend of quad ball, a great season of quad ball to come here.
Yeah, this is great. We currently also have Cleveland and Toronto, Cleveland Riff and Toronto Raiders happening at the same time. And then tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have the San Antonio Soldados versus the Kansas City Stampede, all right here on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's also going to be a great series. The Soldados trying to get their revenge from last year where KC beat them on their home field. And a bunch of players on KC who remembers the Creighton program trying to get their revenge on UTSA players. So it's a revenge game all around. We're about to get started here. Brett Kurt's going to take us off. Like I said, Riley Stars is going to be running for the Admirals. I believe it's going to be Mike Lee running for the Titans. Quick reset here, just resetting some players on the line. And the 2023 MLQ season is off. It was John Jackson and TJ Jennerett running for it. It is going to be New York who comes up with it. It's going to be a no-budget situation. John Jackson looking to drive, tries to get through Tyler Trudeau, goes through with ease. John Jackson unassisted to open up the scoring here.
Yeah, and what have we talked about all year long on our other situations, Ethan? John Jackson, in no dodgeball situations, is a force to be reckoned with, one of the best drivers in the sport.
And a quick sub in here with Devin Lee coming in for Frank Minson. He takes an exchange with Bernie Burgess, and it's another forced turnover here. John Jackson's going to be running. Trina Hicks is back this time. It's not going to be a free fast break. Does get over to Lee. Lee to Yanko. Yanko drops the ball, and TJ Jennerett comes down with it.
Yeah, you can't drop the ball there. That is a time where Yanko, newly minted Team USA player, has to assert and play with force there and dunk that ball.
Yeah, but bigger issues here are facing the Admirals, who can't even get into the New York zone right now. It is a high mark press with bludger control from the Titans.
Love to see it. A team that normally has played very conservatively is out here asserting their place on the field.
Exchange there. I think it's going to be bludgeon control. Julian Neutral has it on the wing. Has to go by Jackson. A big hit. And Janko beats TJ Jenner to the loose ball. Jackson falls on it. It's a stop, but it does mean a key bludgeon control exchange there.
Yeah, now we get to see what Washington really wants to do. I'm very interested. Ooh, I like this high press here.
Yep. Seems like both of these teams are making the most of the new MLQ rule set. There is not a lot of hoop defense. We're going to see when the shooters start getting broken out here. Jackson down the corner to Janko. Janko looking to drive. No beater to step out. A screen there by Hickmott allows Janko to drive. Janko floats one to no one in particular. Mike Lee, though, is the first to get there. Riley Stars working on him. Trina Hicks gets out and forces a turnover. Riley Stars has room to run. Janko's the first one to step. Stars gets into the lane. Stars pumps once, gets it to Trudeau. Trudeau also very good in a no bludger situation. Does put it down, but we do have an injury on the field. So as we get a stop, a frantic pace of play so far in this game. What do you think of the action so far, Nick?
Yeah, I love to see it. I love this high pressure options. I love the fact that both these teams are playing to own as much space on the field as possible. We just saw in that last play, we saw a Washington player. The closest one was 1.5 yards from the hoops.
Yep.
They are looking to cover options. They are looking to play fast. They are looking to make people move. They are trying to prove that people can pass. And right now, we're seeing a little bit of sloppy passing on both sides.
Yeah, and like I said, the way you break down a mark defense is with shots. And, Janko came off that wing there, and that's a situation where against zone you can't shoot, right? But against Mark, you can get around that one screen set by Hickmott there and rip one.
Riley Stars did walk off under his own power. Great to see.
Yep, and it's once again going to be Admirals keeping bludger control. They forced Lee back to the hoops. They forced Phil Kane off the field. It's a high press. Janko's able to keep it in his half of the field. Does get it back to Jackson. Trina's getting isolated here by Lee. Lee with the jump dodge. Wins back control. Mike Lee now on the near side tries a shot. It is off of Trudeau's hand, but Bear's going to get there long before it goes out of play.
We just talked about there's no hoops defense being played there. That was great hoops defense. Trudeau's physicality prevented Lee from even considering a drive there and settling for the shot.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to forget because we've been in the zone world for so long. Tyler Trudeau used to be elite for the way he was able to move around the hoops, make the hits when he needed to. Wasn't a great shot blocker, but was very good at taking his angles.
Yes.
Julia Bear has the ball in the possession here. Subbed in for Neutzel, possession to go. Jenner bobbles the ball, and it's another wasted possession as Emily Hickmott falls on it.
A new beating pair, Nardone and Smith in for Washington here. Let's see if they can continue to keep this up.
And a new beating pair, I think the key beating pair we were expecting from New York in this matchup, it's Tate K and Tessa Mullins.
Mm-hmm.
Bludger control is with Smith and Nardone early, both from the UMD program, though not exactly at the same time. It's an exchange there. There are no bludgers in the play. Janko looking to drive on Bear. This time, Janko converts 2-1 New York.
Yeah, and that's what we want to see from Janko, right? That's a very similar situation to the one he bobbled earlier. This time finishes with authority.
Yep, but it's going to be no bludgers because like we said, they were all on the ground. Kay is trying to get the ball back in the play. Trudeau drives, gets it over to Bear. Bear up to Trudeau. Okay, he's waiting on the hoop, but it just took too long for Trudeau to see him. The quad ball gets lofted high and picked up by Vinny Iannucci.
Yeah, a pretty lofted pass there. I expect sharper passes here. There's not a lot of wind today. It is a little cooler than it was about an hour and a half ago, but it hasn't resulted in a really, really breezy day. We got to have that pass has got to be flatter.
Just as you say, a little bit of wind picks up here. High press there by Nardone. It's a block called by Janko. Pass behind Iannucci. Iannucci rips. This is how you break down a mark defense.
Mm-hmm. And that's the ball movement we're looking for, right? Drive to make players step to you and then pass to the open mark.
Yeah. So New York now starting to get a little bit of control over this game. It is 3-1 early. Trudeau's going to sub out for the first time. Dale Farnan coming into the game. John Gaffigan also entering the game for the first time. And Robbie May has subbed in for Cody Nardone. A short shift there out of Nardone. May looking for a chance to break. Tate K, though, happy to step back to the hoops as Melissa Smith engages. Goes wide to Gaffigan. Gaffigan driving. Gaffigan behind. Put through by Mulcahy.
That's what we know John Gaffigan for, right? All those times with the Cleveland Riff, making clean drives and then passing off to options.
Okay, wins an exchange there. No, doesn't win it. Robbie May is actually able to keep control here. Might be able to press off of it depending on the situation. May needs to know where Kay is coming from behind. Meanwhile, Iannucci gets one just past Farnan. Potter has it. Potter wrapped by Farnan, and a beat. Gafkin falls on it. Yep. All the bludgers are on the ground. Diana Howard comes into the game here. Farnan's considering a no bludger run, not in too much of a rush, gets it wide to Bear. Bear has the ball, zips it behind, bobbled there by Mulcahy, and John Jackson is able to box him out. Does have to pass off to Mohagog to avoid the contact, but no harm, no foul there. Score stays 3-2. And the Admirals are just whipping through their beater lines right now. I think they're on their 4th set of beaters already.
I love to see it. This is a theory I've had for the last 6 months with this no resets idea, is that you want to play hyper aggressively and you want to float through your pairs quickly.
Yep. Christian Barnes and Tate K now the pair of beaters. Ball goes behind to Leo Freed. Freed the one-handed grab. Gets pressured high by Rice. Throw might have been late. No, it's not called that way. Iannucci now has a no-budget situation. Iannucci's shot goes wide.
And that is all due to the point defense of Brian Mulcahy, a stalwart in this league, arguably one of the most elite point defenders in the world.
Yep. 3-2 the score right now. We're seeing more of a standard 2-2 look now, I believe, out of New York. Facing bludger control. Rice runs in. It takes an exchange. Tate K does get beat. It's going to be no bludgers for a bit. Ball goes over to Mulcahy. Mulcahy rips it around Freed, puts it through. We are all knotted up at 3.
Diana Howard is having herself a game today, right now, all over the field consistently.
K there is not able to get bludger control, only able to force a brief no bludger situation, but Rice is right back in the play. It goes wide to Hagag. Hagag gets it to Potter. Potter back to Hagag. It's a race there. Wrapped up by McConaughey. Hagag has it up top. Wrapped again. This time slips through. Gets through the whole team. No, Littleton has the two-handed wrap. It's now a gang tackle. Rice makes the stop. Another big stop out of the Admirals, showing that physicality.
We love to see it. We absolutely love to see it. Great physicality all the way through.
Zan Siddiqui subbing in for the first time. Rachel Heald in the game now as well. Back to the first set of beaters here for the Admirals. 2 possessions each. Oh, no, a mistake there. No, they're going to get away with it. They all stayed just far enough on the wrong side. McConaughey now has the ball up top.
And you say just beaters. I'm loving that they're whipping through all their lines super fast. Everyone out here is playing high energy.
Yeah, Littleton panic throws it. Siddiqui gets there, though. Able to use all of the space on the field. A couple of UVA players using a UVA key mark right there. Littleton now has it on the near side. Gets in the lane. Looking to shoot. No, looking to pass. McConaughey has it. Freed gets a hand on it. And I think the refs are going to have to talk about that one.
Yeah, and I want to speak a little bit more about this. This is with these high pressure situations, these high press opportunities, you are working a lot. And Washington, I think, is recognizing that very well by subbing through so many players so quickly.
Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen just about every single player in their 21 on this pitch already. Looking down the sideline, I think we're at least at 19 or 20.
Yeah. Goal is good.
Goal is good. That's a McConaughey goal, and that's the first lead of the day here for the Admirals. And it's going to force a timeout out of the Titans. Things are really shifting here in D.C.
Yeah, I mean, the Titans had a commanding 3-1 lead early. They looked comfortable playing against this Washington defense. And now, once Washington gained control, we really got to see what this Washington press could do.
Yeah, I think what's interesting, and I think it speaks to these crazy subs, the speed of subs, is that Washington is just throwing waves of athleticism at these beaters. Tate K, I think a possession back, didn't have bludger control. I don't think Tate K was expecting them to attack him right under his hoops with a throw, but they just attacked him with a throw and just came in with 2 more waves and created no bludger. I think they may have even ended up with control when the ball was said and done.
Yeah, I don't think a Washington offensive possession has taken more than 30 seconds this whole game. I think it's either ended in a turnover or in a goal. There's not really these sort of slow, methodical options, and I'm loving it. This is so much fun to watch. This is so fast-paced on both ends. They're forcing New York to play fast on one end, and then they're playing fast themselves on the other.
Yeah, I think Washington has to be really happy with what they've accomplished so far. And, as long as the games are close, I mean, both these teams have solid seeking games. They have solid seeker beating. They really will be coin flippy if we get to that point.
Yeah, I'm super interested to see New York, typically a better flag runner on pitch team just around in the beating game. But like we said, this this Washington beater core has not been one to be messed with today, and I'm very excited to see if they've built up something for flag runner on pitch.
So we're about to get started. Head coach Keegan Miller just talking to the refs real fast.
Never been in that position, either of us, before now.
I've never spoken to a ref in my life. But yeah, we're here on day one of the MLQ 2023 season. We've got 2 months of incredible play, 3 months this year because of how late finals is. And, you know, right concurrent to this one, right on here on our YouTube channel, is Cleveland taking on Toronto. And then later in the evening, we have a great series between San Antonio and Kansas City. So we hope you tune into all of it. Also, you can follow along on quadball.one this year. That'll get you full play-by-play, all the goals scored, and the times. Christian Barnes takes an early exchange there with Bernie Burgess. Seemed like a planned play out of the timeout. Hagag and Iannucci just being patient. Oh, it goes high to Freed, who goes over the hoops. And Siddiqui just wants to take off. Might have been a little ambitious. No, the ball's still loose. And Littleton comes up with it.
Push.
And Freed, it's all loose on the ground. Bludgers are flying left, right, and center. Finally, Siddiqui still in this play. Still has it. Gets it across to Heald. Heald eats a tackle from Freed, and Hagag knocks down the shot. Yep. It's been a wild and crazy game, and really epitomized by that play with all three dodgeballs, in the play, all four beaters. Bludger control did favor New York at the end of the play. Jason Ing is in the game now. Floats it around to Leo Freed. Freed this time is able to get it through the hoop. Freed opens his account for the season. We are all knotted up at 4. This line definitely seems to enjoy featuring Leo Freed in the air around the hoops.
This is what we talked about a little bit earlier. We were curious to see if Leo Freed was going to play off ball a little bit more, since he sort of struggled last year playing more in the facilitator role. Yep. Primarily an off-ball threat for Harvard this year, even though a great on-ball player as well. But that really puts him in opportunities to succeed for sure.
McConaughey gets the ball around to Generate. Generate makes a quick stutter step, puts it through the open hoop. Just like that, Washington back up 5-4.
You know, Ethan, I don't see many shots go past a Leo Freed outstretched hand. TJ Generate's shots coming from as low as they do and rising up, very hard to block.
Yeah, and he's so shifty. I mean, we haven't seen the high step yet. That's what I'm really waiting for. But, I mean, such a talent at getting through people. John Jackson now has the ball. No beaters in front of him. Does get shied away, though, by the green headband here. Gets it in the lane, floats it over to Lee. Lee has it up top. Lee to Freed. Freed puts it through. Great movement by this team around the hoops. That looked a little bit more like a lacrosse play.
Yeah, a great post-up by Freed. I think that's woefully underutilized against some of these zones that people play. Whether or not Washington was in a zone that play, they were condensing around the hoops, and Freed just put himself in a spot to receive the ball, turn around, and shoot.
Yeah, you know, the best post-up player in the game, not playing for Charlotte this year. Freed wanted to pay him a little homage there. Degenerate floats one to Mulcahy. He can't come up with it. It's now a pile-up. Jackson tries to take him down. The shot goes wide. I think Trudeau's going to get there first. Bludger control is with Washington. Patience here from Trudeau. Gets it to Degenerate. It's no Bludger situation, but Degenerate loses the ball. Freed can't pick it up. And I think we might have a card coming. It is going to be Degenerate, I guess, for a trip there, going in the box. It's going to be a broom pull there to stop the fast break. You know, that's a smart foul right there, because I think there wasn't much back defensively for Washington.
Yeah. We don't really have take fouls in quad ball, but if we did, that would definitely be one of them.
You only got halfway through game one before getting your first NBA reference in there. So right off a stoppage, you can always use a reset for free, so that won't activate anything there as Freed throws it back to Jackson. They're just going to set up a half court. Power play opportunity, first of the season for New York. Bludger control is with Washington, though, so could be a little extra hard to press the advantage. Yanko back in the game here. Avery Oliver and Mike Lee all working off John Jackson. Patience here is Mulcahy. He gets beat out. Jackson hits the lane. Jackson floats one middle hoop, and you can tell a little bit of energy there on what had been a bit of a scoring drought overall.
Yeah, I mean, we asked when are the shooters going to come out. John did the perfect thing. They're taking his space and then hitting the little float shot. That's what happens when you sink a defender off the hoops in a mark-style defense.
Yep. Vinny Chico now in the game alongside Tessa Mullins with Bludger control. Adrian Koretsky coming in for the first time here alongside Cody Nardone for the Admirals. And Julia Rankin, and I think it's now been all 21 in for Washington. Ball floated across to Rankin. Avery Oliver just takes it right off her. Big defensive play there by Oliver. And Oliver's trying to come down the field. Takes a hit. Ball goes across to Yanko. Yanko gets wrapped by Trudeau. And the pass to Lee gets bobbled, and Brian Mulcahy is able to stop on it. Transition doesn't work out, but a huge play there all around from Avery Oliver.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brian Mulcahy has been posted up in that back corner every single play, and that swing to Rankin seemed very ready to get that ball to Mulcahy, and Oliver just took it away.
Yep. And it's going to be Bear back in the game now. Kind of the line I think a lot of people would have expected to see as the starting line here for Washington, finally in the game, in the Quaffle game. Generate with the ball on the wing. Trying to hit the lane, but it's going to get pressed. Doesn't have a reset. Gets it to Mulcahy. Jump ball. Mulcahy falls on it. I think Chico missed that beat. No, he did not. It's a turnover. Yanko going the other way. Yanko gets it to John Jackson. Jackson to Mike Lee. Lee trying to get by Generate. Generate just knocks it out of his hands.
That would have been a clean block in a basketball game.
And now I think the refs are going to have to talk some things out due to kind of the arbitrary nature of the keeper zone line in terms of a reset there. But what a play there from TJ Generate either way.
Yeah, I mean, these are the defensive plays we are hoping to see in this sport, right? We want to see blocks at the hoops. We want to see aggressive tackles. John Jackson had no interest in going through Trudeau there. Pass up to Mike Lee. Generate the last line of defense makes the stop.
Yeah, you know, I think Jackson can get around Trudeau in a true open field situation, but Jackson had no momentum as he was closing on Trudeau. I don't think he was ever getting around him there. Made the right play, but like you said, just a great play by Generate.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be no call on the field. Yep, no call on the field. So Mulcahy will have the ball, protected by his beaters. Doesn't have to worry about being pushed back for the reset. I got to say, for all the talk about the reset rule, it has definitely affected the game, don't get me wrong, but nobody's actually used one, I don't think, so far.
You can't use them anymore.
No, it's true. Nobody's illegally used one. Trudeau with the ball on the wing to Bear. Koretsky dodged the Tessa Mullins, beat low, but unfortunately Trudeau's going to get beat out anyway. Mulcahy has it. Yanko wraps him. Ball's loose. Lee picks it up. Mike Lee now looking to go in transition. Only the one ball back. Oh, Adrian Koretsky with the jump dodge. Floats it behind to Yanko. Yanko pump fakes once. Yanko's shot goes into the tee. TJ Generate, there's the high step. Trying to go by Jackson. It's not to be. Jackson is going to tackle Generate out of bounds and force the turnover.
Yeah, I think Yanko needed to release that in the air there. I think coming down, especially against a player so confident playing around the hoops and Bear, wasn't necessarily the answer. Love the high step from Generate. Great speed. Jackson, again, a great physical force in the open field.
Yep. We'll see if the out of bounds is called. I think it will be. Yep, and so they're going to...
You can push it further. You can push it further left, Gabe.
So Jackson's going to have the reset. It is going to go back to Mike Lee, and another stop. Koretsky just wins an exchange there with Mullins, but heads up play by Chico keeps bludgeon control for his team because Mullins never saw Koretsky coming. Big beat there by Chico. Koretsky tries to get one off of. It's just no bludgers now, but it doesn't seem like New York's even realizing. Generate's beat. Now it's John Jackson in the lane. John Jackson hits the easy floater. That is a hat trick for John Jackson. That is a 7-5 lead for New York.
Yeah, I mean, this game has swung with dodgeball control. New York has had dodgeball control for the last, feels like 4 or 5 minutes. I think that has definitely resulted in a lot of offensive opportunities.
Devin Lee looks fresh, shot out of a cannon there, trying to force the reset. Everyone's beat. Frank Minson picking up the ball. Devin Lee clears the path. Frank Minson's floater, though, just sits on the edge of the hoop, and Dale Farnon's able to fall on it. Missed opportunity there for New York.
How many of those have we seen from New York? They got to start practicing with smaller hoops or something.
It's Washington's time to take the timeout because momentum has truly shifted from that 4-3 situation. I guess it's been a 4-2 run for New York. And I think that short sells the domination that New York's had for the last 5 minutes because, as you said, they've just missed a lot of sitters. I can't think of many sitters that Washington has missed.
Yeah, everything Washington has had to do has been hard.
Yep.
We watched a TJ Generate tackle being taken out of bounds by John Jackson and having to fight through that. We've watched Julia Bear having to fight through contact and try and get the ball up with Devin Lee in her face. They have not had easy opportunities. And I think that a lot of New York's opportunities have been fast-moving. They've been willing to push the pace. And I think Washington, who came shot out of a cannon, might be looking a little tired. I think they might need to push through the lines a little bit faster than they have recently.
Yeah, it seems like right now the best beater on the pitch, it doesn't matter, general skill level, is the freshest beater on the pitch. And we just saw in that last play because Devin Lee came flying out, basically forced that entire play. Does New York get the goal? No, but that's not the fault of the beater play. Just couldn't get the shot to fall in the end there from Minson. But New York has a chance to really put their stamp on this game before 20 minutes.
Yeah, I would say we are a process-based commentary crew, not necessarily a results-based commentary crew, and I think New York's process has been a lot smoother recently.
So New York was able to get the most out of its timeout. It's now up to Washington to try to get the same. John Gaffigan back in the game for the first time in a while here. Robbie May and Diana Howard, now the beating pair, trying to get bludger control from Phil Kane and Devin Lee. Howard beats Frank Minson. That is going to expose Lee, but Lee jump dodges. Pass goes over to Julia Bear. It's bobbled. Leo Freed slips in, is able to come up with the ball. Now it's transitioning the other way. Freed looking to run, being led by Lee. Lee needs to clear out Howard. It's just a pass over to Minson. Minson again puts it off the tee, and Dale Farnan again falls on it.
Another sitter.
Yeah, New York has had so many of those.
I mean, in Washington's fairness, I loved the way they were able to get back in that. There was no real other option in that, and I think that the shot there, it's got to go through at some point, right? You can't miss all of them.
Yep. Farnan bringing the ball down the far side. Robbie May looking to make an exchange with Phil Kane, does it. Devin Lee's able to keep bludger control. Bear floats one, doesn't go. Picked up by Yanko. Yanko's got a lot of field in front of him, but bobbles the ball out of his own hand. Can't pick it up with one there. That's going to kill the fast break. It is still, I think, no bludger, though. Yeah, because now there's just nobody in front. Yanko drives, flips it behind to Freed. Freed's shot goes off the tee. Emily Hickmott gets to it first, puts it through.
As a friend of ours likes to say, board person gets paid, and Emily Hickmott getting the offensive rebound there, huge for New York. That's what they've been missing these last few possessions.
Yeah, because it was almost another failed possession off the tee, which would have been 3 in a row with an attempt to go up 3.
Yeah.
So dodgeball control is still on the side of New York. They haven't had an answer. That's a long pass. It is, Littleton does come down with it, but Kane is there, immediately forces the turnover.
Not a great execution of the idea. I do love the idea with the high dodgeball press.
Yep. It's a good place to go. Minson has it on the wing. Minson's looking to drive. 2 chasers meet him immediately. Zach Arman trading in the game for the first time. Phil Kane wins an exchange with Robbie May. He's going to force a no bludgers. Minson tries to float it to Potter. Potter can't come up with it, nor can she stop it from going out of bounds. May makes another attempt at bludger control to no avail. And there's a lot of talk here in the beater game. Diana Howard is able to get the one ball, gets it to Burgess. Siddiqui is trying to just kill time because Devin Lee is everywhere on this field right now. Siddiqui's pass gets knocked down by Arman Trading and picked up by Potter. Another fast break here for New York. Siddiqui strips Potter. And the immediate reset on possession, that they'll have to talk about it. But a big defensive play there by Siddiqui.
Yeah, and a textbook press by New York. Even with dodgeball chaos kind of going on in the back there, I think that they did a great job to force the issue. And they forced the issue yet again. It results in a turnover.
Yeah, Siddiqui's pass is called illegal, going back across the keeper's own line. That is a reset line. Potter has the ball. Pass over to Arman Trading. Arman Trading looking to drive, goes right through Littleton, goes through McConaughey, puts it through, leaving a path of bodies in his way.
I mean, again, the Washington Beaters, we've praised them for their aggressiveness. Burgess is up here at half pitch while there's a no dodgeball drive going on behind him. I think he has to be a little bit more aware in that situation.
Yep. Kay and Barnes now the beater pair for New York. Siddiqui gets the ball over to Riley Stars. Good to see him back in the game. Heald has a ton of space. Heald hits the nice little push shot. That was really, really nice ball movement by Washington.
That's the passing we've wanted to see right there. Excellent ball movement all over the field, making the defense shift.
Yeah, I really like getting Heald back in the game. Another player comfortable with the ball in hand. A little bit more passing opportunities here for Washington. Trina Hicks has the only dodgeball for Washington. Does go for the high press. Molly Potter's shot looked like it deflected off somebody, went right through a hoop.
What do we say, right? Molly Potter, great shot to start off the game, hits one right there.
Yep. Score is now 90-60 in favor of New York. Burgess gets rid of Potter. Sneaky with on the near side, goes over to Stars. Stars over to Hield. Patience here from Washington. Not sure if they're trying to hold for last possession, but they at least want a good possession. Christian Barnes, though, wins in exchange. McConaughey has the ball behind, fakes arbitrating once, and just hits the floater. That was so clean there from McConaughey.
I love this long pass that Washington is doing. If the beaters are going to press out and play in space and your beaters aren't going to be able to force them to play under the hoop, the easiest way to get that to happen is to start getting passes to the back.
Yeah, you know, we talked about some of these young players are going to make a difference. We didn't mention Shane McConaughey out of the Virginia Tech program. That's his second goal of the day already.
I'm enamored with the speed of this game. This is so fun to see.
Yep. And just like that, it is a 2-goal game again. This will likely be the last possession of the 20. We're at 19:45 right now. Oh, no, it's not going to be because Zanzaniki almost forced the turnover. Jackson walking it down behind Bludger Control. Melissa Smith goes for a hit to no avail. And Burgess beats Barnes. It's going to give a little bit of patient time here for Washington. Yeah, Burgess is going to be able to pressure. I think it's going to force the turnover. I think the refs are going to have to talk about it. If it's forces the turnover, that's a stop in 20 minutes. Good job by Burgess recognizing the advantage that was created because Christian Barnes went for a 1.5 and Melissa Smith got in the way and allowed a beat. Nope, it's going to stay with New York. The possession continues. Washington was never in control of the ball, so because of that, we're still in this original 20 minutes. It's going to be one last possession here for New York. They do maintain Bludger Control. Melissa Smith once again pressuring Tate K. Takes a beat. Jackson over to Armor Trading. Armor Trading, though, eats a beat. Stars gets it. That is 20 minutes. Really nice from Washington to kind of get this game back under control right before the 20 minutes. And I think part of it is just the reintroduction of Riley Stars, who is such an important player of this program.
Riley Stars has been criminally underrated for years at this point. A great point defender, an excellent off-ball threat, really able to drive through a lot of no dodgeball opportunities, and it's really great to see him back out there.
Yeah, yep. And, you know, this is still anybody's game. I mean, we've seen it kind of go back and forth and back and forth. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what the biggest force has been in the game, but we've talked about it being Bludger Control, but I would say that Washington's been able to mitigate over the last couple minutes, even while not getting Bludger Control back.
Yeah, I mean, I think New York has looked to slow the pace down. I think Washington is starting to do what New York was doing on this end and pressing with their chasers up high too, right. Even without the dodgeballs, and I love to see it.
Yeah, and it's also recognition of the moment, right? We saw Burgess be able to pressure halfway through that possession. The initial play that ended with John Jackson just kind of getting the ball pushed out of bounds, but saw the ability to pressure just because they had gotten rid of Christian Barnes, who was running a 1.5, and Tate K was stuck guarding both Bludgers. That's all it took for Washington to see a press there. That's something that a lot of teams don't bother to try, but when there's no resets to be had, you take the opportunity.
Yeah, I love it. I love this high-pressure situation. It's an absolute blast to watch.
Yep. So a big snitch-on-pitch period about to start here. It's going to be Vinny Iannucci wearing the yellow to start for New York, and I believe it's going to be TJ Jenrette wearing the yellow for Washington. 90-70 the score, 150 the set score. You got to imagine that a catch will be decisive for New York, and a catch will make for a real game here for Washington. But also, who will be the more physical team? Who will be the team that can put a ball through the hoop? In this situation, John Jackson on the field. We've seen how hard it is to stop him in a no-budget situation. Brickers, our ref, about to get us started again here. Bludger Control does remain with the pairing of Tate K and now Tessa Mullins, who's just subbed back into the game. And we are off here in the first flag runner on pitch period. McConaughey bringing the ball up. John Jackson happy to pressure high. Once the pass happens, John Jackson backs off. It's a release. Tate K tries an initial beat. Rachel Heald has a ton of space in the half court here. Gets it over to Riley Stars. Stars trying to get by Frank Minson, trying to hit the hole. Gets it back to Heald. Beautiful backhand pass there from Riley Stars. Heald with the finish, her second goal of the day.
Yeah, meanwhile, New York dominating around the flag runner, buying Iannucci infinite time.
Yep. Iannucci has a lot of work to do here on Johnson Mundy, a very strong flag runner. So that was pretty close to a nice little shot there from Iannucci. Mundy does go down as John Jackson's now bringing the ball up. Jackson gets met by Rachel Heald at half field, takes an immediate screen, hits the lane, pass across is bobbled.
Generate has a grab.
And that could be big. That could push Washington towards its real first opportunity here to win a game.
I mean, if this is good, this is exactly what Washington wanted, right? Get one quick goal, go up +4 in this period.
Yeah.
Not much more you can ask for.
Yeah, if the goal's good, Washington will need 4, New York will need 6.
Regardless of if this is good or not, TJ Generate didn't have much time with the flag runner. It only took one shot. We clearly have a budding seeker.
Yeah, a huge year for Generate in USQ. You know, in the college game, he always showed flashes, but he ate so many minutes for UMD that it was always a little bit hard to see. Mm-hmm. With a lot of college seekers, it's the same way. It's hard to see, you know, if it's an energy issue or a talent issue. TJ Generate is eating it up right now. He has his team out in front. He has his team 4 goals away from the first win of the season here in the East Division. And they just got a turnover, I believe, off that last play. No, it's just a loose ball that is going to be picked up by Potter. Tate K clearing out with the dodgeball. Potter gets marked high again. This time flips it back to Hickmott. Hickmott eats a big hit from McConaughey. McConaughey showing up huge right here for Washington. Riley Stars picks it up. Riley Stars goes right by Tessa Mullins. Mullins' beat is no good. Julia Bear, this game is absolutely turning right now. I think they are going to talk about the Tessa Mullins beat, though.
Yeah, I mean, we love to see this, right? Fast-paced pushing, regardless of the beat there or not. A great run by Julia Bear to fill the opposite side lane. You and I talk about all the time there are 3 lanes you want to fill in transition, left, right, and center, and if you're not filling one, you're setting screens. Bear ran down the left side completely unmarked, made Jackson split the difference, and Stars delivers a flat, excellent pass.
Okay, so the Tessa Mullins beat is good. Be a no-goal situation. But like you said, a good fast break overall there from Washington.
Yeah, and they're playing with all the momentum right now. You've got to feel it. There's no situation right now in which New York is feeling even remotely comfortable.
Well, I think you mentioned it. New York had started to settle down into its more classic half-court approach, and as I say that, John Jackson is slowly walking the ball up. They need 6 goals at this pace now. Chris Palazza into the game, has been playing since flag runner on pitch. As a wing chaser here for New York. Jackson looking to drive, no bludger. Koretsky makes the beat. Balazza gets shut down by Heald. Hoops defense coming up big there for the Admirals. McConaughey's taking a sub now, gets off to Mulcahy. Gafkin in the game as well. And Dale Farnan now back in the game. Washington needs 4. New York needs 6. Gafkin, a lot of space up top. Nobody's stepping yet. It is settling down into more of a 2-2 type look here from New York.
We do have a corrected score. It is 115-100 New York, so New York needs 5.
Apologies.
That's on me. I'm managing a lot of things.
Oh, and that pass is just picked off by Balazza. Balazza goes right into the lazy passing lane. Mulcahy pushes him around, but he gets all the way to the far hoop. Balazza gets on the board, and we are all knotted up 115-110, first to 4 here in D.C. Generate right back on the field. Tried to win it for them as a seeker, now trying to win it for them in the quad ball game.
Could we have asked for anything more about this?
This is the exact game we could have hoped for. It's been high-paced. It's been back and forth. There's been runs and stretches. Generate has the ball on the far side. The southpaw looking for an opportunity on Jackson. Happy to be patient. Kay is now pushing him out of the play. He goes around to Farnan. Farnan tries to get by Molly Potter. Eats a bit of a jersey grab, but it's going to be a no call here. No harm, no foul. Mulcahy in the lane. Mulcahy shoots high. That's going to be a turnover.
Yes, but it is going to be dodgeball control to Washington. A big thing for them on this defensive side of the ball. The New York Beaters seem to be moving in pairs. They're not necessarily splitting up one behind, one up top. They're moving both behind and both up top. I think if Washington continues to flip the ball, they're going to have to adjust.
Jackson walking the ball up here in a close do-or-die situation here in Game 1 of our East Division play in Major League Quad Ball. Kay takes a few free beats there on point defenders, but doesn't really cause much. Koretsky, though, gets isolated, and Kate's able to win for control. It's now Nardone by himself. I think there might be a call. Kay might be going in the book. That would be a big beater foul in this game.
Yeah, I mean, take Kay, a beater that does like to push the boundaries. All elite beaters like to do that. It's not a knock on him at all. It's simply what happens, and sometimes you get caught, sometimes you don't.
Yep. So that should be a quad ball turnover, and we might get to see some TJ Jenner high stepping here in transition.
We know what you want, Ethan, and it's
what I want.
TJ Jenner high steps.
First power play now of the season for the Admirals.
A place where they notably struggled last year.
Hagag and an unarmed Tessa Mullins, the only two players in front of him. There's the high step. Jenner goes by Hagag, but loses the ball, and Malaza falls on it. Nardone's going to be there first, though, to clean up because Mullins had to go all the way back to a ball. Not sure how Hagag was still alive in that play. There's going to be no call.
Yeah, I'm as confused as you are here, Ethan. It looks like it's going to be a turnover.
Yeah. At minimum, it's going to be Admiral's ball on the inbounds.
Yeah, I don't know what Nardone is doing there, but you and I, for years at this point, have been questioning what Nardone is doing at beater, but it seems to be working. And who are we to question success?
Again, New York's jumping these passing lanes. Jenner almost made a pass to Potter. Oh, Jenner tries to go near side. It does get knocked down. Rebound fielded by a teammate, though. It is Julia Bear who gets it to Brian Mulcahy, who eats a huge hit from John Jackson to force a turnover. That's the physicality this team needs from their, I would say, biggest star player. But then it's a mistake by Hagag throwing it back across the keeper's own line.
No beaters in the play.
Yep.
Just pressure from the chasers. This Washington chaser press up top without any beaters is working so well, and it looks like it's going to result in the sitterest of sitters for goal.
Yep, Julia Bear just going to walk it in. Not even an effort there by John Jackson to do anything about it. Just like that, Bear is on the board for the season, and the Admirals are 3 goals away versus 4 goals for New York.
You know, if you told me Bear was only going to score 1 goal in this game so far, I would have told you that Washington was going to be struggling. That's not the case.
No, they're getting production all over this roster. Potter has the ball. Potter's played huge minutes so far in this game. Potter hits the lane. Trudeau, though, has the green headband, is able to make the goaltend. Jenner, it's going in transition. Jason Ng is now behind him in the play. Potter, though, wraps up Jenner. That's a big play. Hagag's there, too. A two-handed pass to Neutzel. She can't come down with it, and Jackson gets there first. A little bit sloppy in transition on Jenner on the last few plays. John Jackson trying to hit the lane. Robbie May is late getting there. Jackson puts it through. Jackson, the lead scorer in the game so far. He has 4. It is now 1-3 in Game 1 in Washington.
Yeah, and we so rarely see this New York team push the pace like that, especially in a set goals to go situation. Great to see Jackson getting out in the open field.
Carrie Donnelly playing her first minutes of the season here alongside Jason Ng. Freed now also in the game for Jackson. Jackson played a long shift there. It's a loose ball. Oh, Tyler Trudeau's come off his broom. Who's going to get there first? It's going to be Iannucci, and Iannucci has room to run. There's not really a bludger back. Slips through Siddiqui. Gets it across to Potter. Potter with the volleyball serve. Puts it through. Just 2 more now needed for New York.
Basic mistakes up top lead to turnovers, lead to goals. And coming off broom up there with no pressure underneath is a bad turnover.
Yep. Bludger control now back with New York. You can see Washington looking a little bit more flustered here. They're really going to have to, play things well, but New York's got a really fresh set of Quaffle players out after playing a bit of a longer shift with their last set, and they look ready to capitalize. Siddiqui's got the ball behind. Siddiqui gets it back up to Littleton. Trudeau does not want the pass with Jason Ing stepping high. Diana Howard misses. Littleton's going to have to go deep. Oh, it's a wide open Zayn Siddiqui! Oh, lost coverage there by New York, and we are knotted up once again. It is 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, New York was out there playing a 2-2 zone, something that they haven't played a ton this game. And it seems like the communications aren't quite figured out yet. Freed went out to press. Kim went out to press, left the hoops wide open.
Littleton goes for a swat there. It's a floater. Leo Freed goes high once again, puts it through. Game point now for New York.
The resilience of this New York team to give up a flag runner catch, to be down in the scoring, to give up turnovers underneath their own keeper zone, and to be up now with a goal-to-go situation speaks volumes for how composed this team is right now.
It's now 7 combined goals from the 2 keepers from Harvard on this Titans squad, Jackson and Freed. Oh, and it's another unforced error for the Admirals there. It's Littleton overthrowing Heald. There are no resets anymore, and New York will get a chance to end this one here, 140-135 with a set score of 150. There are no bludgers back. No, sorry, Bernie Burgess does have a dodgeball back, but Jason Ing's looking to make something of it. Freed has it across. Oh, it's a huge beat by Burgess. Annika Kim falls on the loose ball. Burgess has to get back in the play because Lee is looking to drive and end it. Lee's shot goes wide. Iannucci's going to be first there, kicks it towards Kim, but Trudeau gets on it. One defensive hold there on game point from Washington, and it's going to be Tyler Trudeau who's limping off. McConaughey, who's been huge for Washington this game, has the ball, but it's going to be another high press from New York. Phil Kane behind Kim, though, knocks down the pass. Can McConaughey keep her there? No, because Kane's going to break things up. The pass is going to go back, so Trina Hicks will have a bludger back. But it will be bludger control with New York. Siddiqui gets beat. Lee with the ball. Freed going behind. We know the play this team is probably looking for. Oh, but it's a mistake there from Lee. Oh, Freed's able to keep it just in play, but no other New York players around. Stop number 2 on game point from Washington. That one less on their own merits than the last one.
I mean, we've seen this before in this sport. Teams, when it comes down to goal-to-go situation, it is a tough thing to do. If you haven't practiced it, and Freed just joined the team this week, it's a tough thing to get.
McConaughey with the ball up top. Another high press here. This time, though, oh, Lee with the jump dodge. Riley Stars tries a shot. Freed is going to go in the other direction. This time, there are no bludgers back. There are no Quaffle players back. Just McConaughey. McConaughey with the wrap. Lee tries to roll it across to Kim and can't. And Riley Stars, stop number 3. This McConaughey kid can play.
I mean, this is what you want to see, right? Even if Washington does lose this game, the fact that they're making New York work for this last goal is incredible. It speaks volumes. We talked about what New York's doing on the other end. This is great to see.
Yep. Still needs 2 goals for Washington. Just needs the 1 goal for New York. Stars beat it half court again. Lee has a chance to end it. Brian Mulcahy just strips it off of him. The long pass. McConaughey. Oh, no, that went through. Brian Mulcahy from distance. The 25-yarder to knot us up. It is next goal wins in DC. Would they probably have scored anyway? Yes. Was it cooler this way? Yes. Now Frank Minson trying to end the game, gets the ball off to John Jackson. Melissa Smith is beat. It's a no bludger situation briefly. Can John Jackson put this game away? Does not want to go through Mulcahy. Mulcahy is beat. Oh, Jackson never saw Nardone. No, does get the pass off to Frank Minson. Frank Minson puts it through. Maybe you were wrong about the score somewhere along the line.
It's possible. We're going to see. Either way, it's definitely close. 1 second, I'm going to go get the score. Apologies.
Yep, 2 goals to go here for Washington. I apologize about the score mistakes. Julia Baer tries a shot. John Jackson knocks it down. John Jackson looking to end. Tessa Mullins clears it off. John Jackson for the win goes low. No good. A big stop there. We apologize for the score mistakes. First game of the season. We will do better on the next one. We do have the score table on the same side as us today, making things a little more complicated. The score is now accurate in all aspects. New York has 15. Washington has 14. The set score is 16.
Yeah, sorry about that all. Multitasking a bit today. It's a little tough out here, first game of the season.
McConaughey with the ball on the far side. Pass up top to Stars. Stars looking to move on Minton. Just puts it to a wide open McConaughey. That is a hat trick for the 21-year-old. And this time, I can say accurately, it is next goal wins. Avery Oliver with the ball on the far side, near side, bobbles it. The kick is late. It's definitely going to be a turnover. Next goal wins here in DC. TJ Jennerit's going to get the ball. Bludger control is with Chico and Mullins, so it will need to be a score on bludger control. McConaughey has it with keeper, and he's going to sub out. Trudeau coming back in the game. Koretsky has the only ball for Admirals, the only dodge ball for Admirals. Their partner here is Rice.
A hard mark by New York here.
Yep. Looking to press. TJ Jennerit did that hit the foot. The call is going to be black ball here. And it's going to be Frank Minton picking it up. Has no options deep yet. Now he does have Freed. Minton looking to go. Minton, the high pass, not high enough. It's a huge pile up on the ground. And I think it is going to be the Admirals coming up.
Dodgeballs came in to clean that up regardless. A huge pickoff by Trudeau. I mean, Hoop's defense, right? That's what he does. Not as well as some players, but in that situation, you couldn't have asked for anything better.
Yeah, but it is bludger control to Washington, and they are going to try to run to just take out Tessa Mullins, the only dodgeball with New York. Tessa Mullins goes high, can't make the beat on Trudeau. Trudeau looking to go through Freed. Ball is loose on the ground. Ball is picked up by Jackson. Jackson is beat. Okay, he has the ball. Jump ball thrown to nobody. John Jackson comes up with it. Trina Hicks. Oh, it's the home run ball to Balaza, but TJ Jennerit's going to get there first. What a crow. TJ Jennerit's off room. Balaza has the ball. Mulcahy with the hit. I think that will finally put an end to this possession. We'll get a chance to catch our breath, but there might be a call on the play. Just insanity here in our first game of the series of the week. Mulcahy is headed to the box. It's going to be a yellow card. Balaza is going to have to get the ball off immediately. It's contact to the neck. Burgess is right there. So Balaza's going to have to pass. I think Avery Oliver is the best option.
Yes, Trina Hicks right here ready to pick off Freed.
Can use a reset if he has to because it's immediately upon gaining possession.
Well, that's not possession. That's just a foul on that, so unclear.
Yep. It seemed like the rule was no, so it had to be a roll, and Julia Baer gets there first. Tyler Trudeau looking to run. Tyler Trudeau. No, Chico is there. Pass to Jennerit. Jennerit gets wrapped by Freed, but Hicks is there to knock out both. Balaza, oh, big catch by Chico. That might have been a game-saving catch. Oh, and TJ Jennerit's shot goes high. So now it's a power play for New York. Was one already, but really the first time they had possession of the ball. Tate K now back into the game, playing alongside Christian Barnes. 30 seconds left on this power play. Next goal wins.
And dodgeball control off that catch to New York.
I mean, that was a huge catch there by Chico.
Yeah. Force the shot out of Jennerit right there. Absolutely cannot say enough about that catch.
Yeah, might be his last contribution in this game, was definitely his biggest. Smith trying to keep K out of the lane, does absorb a beat. Barnes is going to get rid of Jennerit. The penalty is killed right now. Jackson throws it to Crowded, and TJ Jennerit comes up with it and then just drops it right on Dale Farnan.
We have watched both these teams struggle to end this game. Is this the time?
Littleton coming in for Jennerit. More subs out of the Admirals. Heald back in the game. I've kind of liked this Admirals offense best with Heald in the game so far today.
We talked about Heald as a facilitator. Heald has been a scorer this game. And they need that now.
Yep. Heald considering the pass behind. No, goes up top to Farnan. Nobody steps immediately. Farnan fakes a shot. Farnan shot knocked down by Freed at the hoops. Freed looking to run. Freed had a chance earlier to put the game away. This time floats it to Potter. Potter can't come up with it, but either can Brian Mulcahy. But Bolaza can't stop the ball before it goes out of bounds.
Why are these teams continuing to try to throw these home run balls? We are, regardless of what happens here, Ethan, we are in for 2 more games of this, and I could not be more excited.
Yeah. Farnan bringing the ball up. All tied up here. Bludgeon control with New York. Farnan across to Heald. Mulcahy trying to open some space for himself. Ball goes down to Littleton. Patience from New York. Deep sitting beaters of Kay and Barnes. Moses Smith looking for, at least forces no budgers briefly. Farnan, though, runs right into a beat. Leo Freed now has a step on Mulcahy. Just needs to stay in front. There's no call, so Leo Freed. I think the refs might have to talk this one over. It seems like Brian Mulcahy grabbed an arm from behind to stop Leo Freed's momentum. No call initially, but then it also seemed like Leo Freed might have picked up the ball and thrown it through a hoop.
The ball didn't go through the hoop. That
Okay.
much Brett Curtis signaled clearly. We're going to see what happens here. But regardless, the energy these teams are playing with to try and get this, it's great. Mulcahy's leaving it all on the field today. You wouldn't expect anything less from Brian.
Yeah. And, man, we have been in this next goal win situation for it feels like 5 minutes, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to my era, we've been in it for a little bit longer on our end. But the fact is that we still got 5 minutes of this, which is exactly what we're looking for.
And like you said, we have 2 more of these games to come still.
We wait for a call. So, Ethan, what have you... Oh, Brett Curtis coming here for the call. I'll get to that later. We'll have time. Looks like it is going to be inbounds Washington.
Yep. So another opportunity here for Washington as Freed gets shut down by Mulcahy in the open field.
No, couldn't ask for anything more. Subs out. Well-deserved sub.
Heald bringing the ball down. Stars and I believe Littleton flanking. Heald hits the lane, floats one over Stars. It's another stop. Nobody can put this game away.
You know, we talk about wanting a fast-paced game. I don't necessarily know if in this situation you want the fast-paced possessions. You might want to slow it down, give yourself time to work. How many times have the New York Beaters been standing under hoops unpressured and Washington has turned the ball over?
Yep. Another opportunity here for New York. Freed, Lee, Potter, and Jackson, the players. Lee has it on the wing. Gets it across to Freed. Freed again cannot put it through what was a falling hoop, and Heald comes up with it. And Farnan has the keeper ball. We will do it again. McConaughey back in the game. Wouldn't it be fitting for him to end it? Has 3 ready.
We're at almost 40 minutes of gameplay here, Ethan. This is everything you ask for in a season opener.
Rice now back in the game alongside Howard, facing the bludger control of Barnes and Kay.
How many more of these possessions can New York play this defense?
Patience this time on both sides. I mean, at some point, these possessions were going to get longer, right? Especially against dodgeball control.
Yeah, again, New York's beaters playing high, though. I would love to see this pass go behind right now.
Oh, Heald tries to float one. Jackson knocks it down. Jackson in a foot race with Riley Stars. Stars. It's going to be It's going to be Jackson's ball.
I don't know how that's a turnover. Yeah. John Jackson swatted that ball last. That is what we know. The question here is, if that's the case, it should not be a turnover to New York. However, if it did get tipped by Stars at the last second there, that would be a turnover to New York.
Right. Would be crazy, though, if it was yet another stop in this game. What has been a never-ending series of them, seemingly. We have been at 155, 150 for quite some time.
Yes, and Diana Howard is right here, so there will be no fast breaking from one of the best no dodgeball drivers in the game in John Jackson.
Yep, plenty of options for a safe throwback. Potter and Freed both currently unmarked.
I think, I love Hield's idea on that play. I know I've been calling for flat passes this whole time. I don't think you can go flat pass there. I think you have to float it up and let Littleton go get it.
Jackson with the pass back there to Freed. Freed notices Littleton. Littleton gets a wrap from behind. Freed trying to get out of it. Gets the ball off to Lee. Missed beat there by Kay. Jackson has the ball. It's no budgers. This has to be the game. This will be the game. John Jackson with his fifth finally puts the punctuation mark on game one in the East Division. 160-155. What a game. What an effort.
Yeah, a huge win there. We came into this saying that New York was going to have the advantage of flag runner on pitch. They did have the advantage. They didn't have TJ Generate. TJ Generate needs 1 second, gets the catch. New York continues to fight through being down to bring it back up and come back and get the win. We're in for 2 more games of this. What do you expect to see out of 2 more games of that intensity?
I mean, I honestly think the pace is going to slow at some point. I think we're going to start seeing more possessions like the ones we saw down the stretch there because I don't think these teams can keep it up. I mean, credit to them, both teams are playing 1 through 21 on their rosters, and that's the only reason they've even been able to do it for this 40-minute game. But like you said, there's a lot of quad ball left to play.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We've got 2 more games of this going on today. Who do you think were key contributors in that game and deserve a shout-out for game 1?
Sure. I mean, on the Washington side, I have to talk about Shane McConaughey. A hat trick and that huge open field stop on Leo Freed was contributing on both sides of the field. I mean, we were even highlighting young players we thought might step up. Didn't even come up in our pregame talk. Showed up huge. On the New York side, I mean, it's a little boring, right? But, I mean, it's always hard not to show what a factor John Jackson was in that game. I mean, no bludgers. That is the way that New York was able to get consistent goal scoring.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the passing situation. I think when the passing gets to be in those tighter windows, New York tended to struggle, whereas Washington seemed to thrive in that situation. And that's kind of what we expected, right? Washington, we want to see playing an up-tempo game. That necessitates tighter range passes. This New York team comes from a lot of teams that want to slow it down, want to take it a little bit easier, and those tend to lead to more wide-open passes. So I'm curious to see if they can tighten that up a bit and continue to look for maybe some higher risk opportunities in the second game.
Yep, so we're going to take a quick break, but we will be back for game 2 here. New York defeats Washington 160-155.
Quadball is a sport that integrates aspects from rugby, basketball, and dodgeball to create a fast-paced, mixed-gender game that features 7 players per side. Okay, so quadball is played on a grass or turf field with 3 hoops of varying heights on each team's half. There's 4 balls in quadball, 1 quaffle, and 3 bludgers, and the players run with brooms between their legs and must complete all the play while on broom. If a player comes off broom at any point, they have to tag the center hoop on their team's half before resuming play. Alright, so there's a lot of different positions. The first 2 are chasers and keepers, known together as quaffle players. They use the quaffle, a slightly deflated volleyball, to try to score through their opponent's hoops. There are 3 chasers per team, and they wear a white headband, and there's 1 keeper per team, and they wear a green headband. The keeper is only different in they can't be interfered with in their team's keeper zone, which is an area around the hoops when they possess the quaffle. On offense, all 4 players move the quaffle by running and passing and shooting to attempt to score. A good goal can be scored from either side of the hoop, and it's worth 10 points. On defense, players can tackle each other, and we're talking full contact to prevent the other team from scoring. Beaters, distinguished by black headbands, use the bludgers, dodgeballs, in attempts to knock out the opposing team's players. Each team has 2 beaters at any given time. A player of any position that is hit by a bludger thrown by the opposing team's beaters must dismount their broom, drop the ball they possess, and tag in on the center hoop before they can rejoin play. Beaters help their quaffle players on offense to clear paths to score, as well as work to stop opposing teams from scoring. Okay, so seekers, the ones with the yellow headband, pursue the snitch runner in an attempt to grab that snitch tail from their shorts, kind of like flag football, in order to earn 35 points for their team. They don't enter the game until after the 20-minute timeout, and they leave the game immediately after a good catch has been recorded. The snitch runner is an impartial official whose sole purpose is to prevent the seekers from catching their snitch tail. They can grab, push, wrap, or run away from the seekers to stop them from catching the snitch. The snitch runner comes onto the field after the 20-minute timeout and stays until they are caught. Quad ball is played in two halves. The first consists of a timed 20 minutes, and the second ends only when the set score gets reached. During the first half, the quaffle players and the beaters work together to score goals and stop the other team from scoring goals. When the game clock hits 20 minutes, there's a 2-minute timeout, and that's when the seekers and the snitch runner get introduced. At the same time, they're going to determine the set score. It's determined by taking the total of the leading team's score and adding 60 points. The set score gets indicated on a scoreboard, which will be separate from the game score, and whichever team reaches the set score first, either through only quaffle points or with the addition of that snitch catch, win the game. Quad ball is a sport that integrates aspects from rugby, basketball, and dodgeball to create a fast-paced, mixed-gender game that features 7 players per side. Okay, so quad ball is played on a grass or turf field with 3 hoops of varying heights on each team's half. There's 4 balls in quad ball, 1 quaffle, and 3 bludgers, and the players run with brooms between their legs and must complete all the play while on broom. If a player comes off broom at any point, they have to tag the center hoop on their team's half before resuming play. Alright, so there's a lot of different positions. The first 2 are chasers and keepers, known together as quaffle players. They use the quaffle, a slightly deflated volleyball, to try to score through their opponent's hoops. There are 3 chasers per team, and they wear a white headband, and there's 1 keeper per team, and they wear a green headband. The keeper is only different in they can't be interfered with in their team's keeper zone, which is an area around the hoops when they possess the quaffle. On offense, all 4 players move the quaffle by running and passing and shooting to attempt to score. A good goal can be scored from either side of the hoop, and it's worth 10 points. On defense, players can tackle each other, and we're talking full contact to prevent the other team from scoring. Beaters, distinguished by black headbands, use the bludgers, dodgeballs, in attempts to knock out the opposing team's players. Each team has 2 beaters at any given time. A player of any position that is hit by a bludger thrown by the opposing team's beaters must dismount their broom, drop the ball they possess, and tag in on the center hoop before they can rejoin play. Beaters help their quaffle players on offense to clear paths to score, as well as work to stop opposing teams from scoring. Okay, so seekers, the ones with the yellow headband, pursue the snitch runner in an attempt to grab that snitch tail from their shorts, kind of like flag football, in order to earn 35 points for their team. They don't enter the game until after the 20-minute timeout, and they leave the game immediately after a good catch has been recorded. The snitch runner is an impartial official whose sole purpose is to prevent the seekers from catching their snitch tail. They can grab, push, wrap, or run away from the seekers to stop them from catching the snitch. The snitch runner comes onto the field after the 20-minute timeout and stays until they are caught. Quad ball is played in 2 halves. The first consists of a timed 20 minutes, and the second ends only when the set score gets reached. During the first half, the quaffle players and the beaters work together to score goals and stop the other team from scoring goals. When the game clock hits 20 minutes, there's a 2-minute timeout, and that's when the seekers and the snitch runner get introduced. At the same time, they're going to determine the set score. It's determined by taking the total of the leading team's score and adding 60 points. The set score gets indicated on a scoreboard, which will be separate from the game score, and whichever team reaches the set score first, either through only quaffle points or with the addition of that snitch catch, win the game. Quad ball is a sport that integrates aspects from rugby, basketball, and dodgeball to create a fast-paced, mixed-gender game that features 7 players per side. Okay, so quad ball is played on a grass or turf field with 3 hoops of varying heights on each team's half. There's 4 balls in quad ball, 1 quaffle, and 3 bludgers, and the players run with brooms between their legs and must complete all the play while on broom. If a player comes off broom at any point, they have to tag the center hoop on their team's half before resuming play. Alright, so there's a lot of different positions. The first 2 are chasers and keepers, known together as quaffle players. They use the quaffle, a slightly deflated volleyball, to try to score through their opponent's hoops. There are 3 chasers per team, and they wear a white headband, and there's 1 keeper per team, and they wear a green headband. The keeper is only different in they can't be interfered with in their team's keeper zone, which is an area around the hoops when they possess the quaffle. On offense, all 4 players move the quaffle by running and passing and shooting to attempt to score. A good goal can be scored from either side of the hoop, and it's worth 10 points. On defense, players can tackle each other, and we're talking full contact to prevent the other team from scoring. Beaters, distinguished by black headbands, use the bludgers, dodgeballs, in attempts to knock out the opposing team's players. Each team has 2 beaters at any given time. A player of any position that is hit by a bludger thrown by the opposing team's beaters must dismount their broom, drop the ball they possess, and tag in on the center hoop before they can rejoin play. Beaters help their quaffle players on offense to clear paths to score, as well as work to stop opposing teams from scoring. Okay, so seekers, the ones with the yellow headband, pursue the snitch runner in an attempt to grab that snitch tail from their shorts, kind of like flag football, in order to earn 35 points for their team. They don't enter the game until after the 20-minute timeout, and they leave the game immediately after a good catch has been recorded. The snitch runner is an impartial official whose sole purpose is to prevent the seekers from catching their snitch tail. They can grab, push, wrap, or run away from the seekers to stop them from catching the snitch. The snitch runner comes onto the field after the 20-minute timeout and stays until they are caught. Quad ball is played in 2 halves. The first consists of a timed 20 minutes, and the second ends only when the set score gets reached. During the first half, the quaffle players and the beaters work together to score goals and stop the other team from scoring goals. When the game clock hits 20 minutes, there's a 2-minute timeout, and that's when the seekers and the snitch runner get introduced. At the same time, they're going to determine the set score. It's determined by taking the total of the leading team's score and adding 60 points. The set score gets indicated on a scoreboard, which will be separate from the game score, and whichever team reaches the set score first, either through only quaffle points or with the addition of that snitch catch, win the game.
And we are back for Game 2 of the MLQ East Division season. We had an absolute classic in Game 1, a back-and-forth affair that came down to the very last goal, and came down to that very last goal for quite some time, with eventually the New York Titans winning 160-155. Nick, do you think the game was fair to both teams, or do you think maybe one team kind of overperformed a bit?
I think this is what we're going to see for the rest of the day. I think we're going to see back and forth. I mean, New York missed a bunch of push shots that just rimmed out, and that's unfortunate. But Washington, on the other hand, missed some wide open off-ball cutters when the New York defense collapsed on them. I think we're going to see both teams come out with some adjustments. I think you were right in our last one where we're going to play with a little bit slower pace, just because coming out that fast right away is going to take some adjustment, right, to carry that across all 3 games. This is the first series of the season for these teams, but I would expect that both teams came across and will continue to come out strong.
Yeah, and what I really want to see from New York, and I don't know if they're going to be able to fix this in 2 games. They need to fix this in a couple weeks of practice. Right now, I love what they're doing with their high press. I love the way their beaters are playing. But people don't give enough credit for how precise marking assignments have to be in a press. If one person goes the wrong direction, when that initial pressing opportunity happens, everything can fall apart. Washington got some free goals just lofting a pass behind the whole defense when the press came. So I want to see New York start adjusting that. If you're in a 2-2 and pressing out of that 2-2, someone's got to go to the player behind the hoops. They're the most dangerous player in the entire play when the beaters are going high.
Especially since these beaters start high already. The fact is we've seen New York's beaters flip between both in the front to both in the back and forth this whole time. I think that what we're going to have to see is either some sort of split by New York's beaters or a more precise marking scheme, or else Washington's going to be looking for that long pass every time.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if Washington keeps its commitment to playing through its entire roster. Both these teams really have, but I feel like Washington especially. I think there are going to be, some tired legs, especially on the Washington side. We saw Riley Stars pick up the early knock, did come back into the game. Tyler Trudeau was a little slow on the sidelines in between games as well as the teams were switching sides. So that's going to be something to monitor as well. Hey, it's just another chance for a young player like Shane McConaughey to shine.
Yeah, I think that these teams have to play through their 21 with both of their high pressing styles. Just because we say this game is going to be a little slower doesn't mean there's not going to be that attempt to force turnovers. It just means that these teams are going to get to that press 2 or 3 seconds slower than when they were sprinting over half pitch.
Yeah, and in the beater game, I think the player I want to highlight the most, I think the player has been the biggest game changer, and what's really just been a lot of beaters just kind of throwing athleticism at each other, has been Devin Lee. I think when he has been on the field, he's been so clean. The jump dodge, which is a staple of his, the Washington Admirals beaters just haven't seemed particularly ready for it. And he's been not just like taking exchanges like most of these beaters are, he's been winning them left and right.
Yeah, a lot of first-time throws from the Washington beaters. I think as you get longer into games, you start to sort of just take the first thought that comes into your head, and Devin Lee is a beater that will eat that up.
Yeah. But hey, on the other side, Adrian Koretsky was throwing some of those jump dodges right back in the New York faces.
Yeah, I mean, we saw jump dodges, we saw ducks, we saw great blocking across the board. We saw a key catch from Vincenzo Chico at the end there. While it didn't necessarily force the end of the game, it was a huge step in New York's favor in ending that.
Yeah, I mean, this has been kind of everything we wanted. These two teams we know they're going to be top competitive teams this season. They're both top 5 teams in the league. And these games mean so much, and you can tell how much they mean to these teams and kind of the extra effort. I mean, Brian Mulcahy making that miracle stop from behind on Aaliyah Freed. Shane McConaughey making a separate huge tackle on Freed in transition. New York definitely had, if you had to calculate expected goals to steal a soccer terminology, they had more. But it was the Admirals who were getting to so many loose balls, kind of fighting for every last hit that really kept them in that game. And it'll be interesting to see whether they can sustain that because, hey, they are starting Tyler Trudeau again. They're saying, Tyler's good to go. Tyler's going to keep playing.
Yeah, how many times have we seen Tyler Trudeau be slow in between games and come out and light up the score sheet?
Yep. So starting lineups heading out to the field. I believe it's going to be an identical starting lineup for the Admirals, though it hasn't settled in yet. Trudeau, who is quite literally limping around the field still. Julian Neutzel, TJ Jennerett, Riley Stars, Diana Howard, and last time it was Bernie Burgess, who is the late addition to the starting line, and it does look like he will be joining again. Across the way, Mike Lee wearing the green, John Jackson and Yanko and Emily Hickmott in the white, and Phil Kane and Devin Lee starting a beater. Last time Frank Minson did do the run-up for Lee. Lee's feeling good now. Doesn't need someone else doing the run-up for him.
Yeah, first game jitters. Frank Minson, a captain of this team, willing to do what it takes.
Yeah.
A coach.
Hey, I mean, a lot of beaters don't like the run-up. Max Havlin famously does not like the run-up.
Hey, I didn't like the run-up. That wasn't the reason I wasn't starting, but it was definitely would have been a reason I wouldn't have started.
All right, Brett Curtis is ready to get us started here for Game 2. Again, New York taking the first one, 160-155. They won 2 in a row last year on week 1 at home. Can they do it again here, or does Washington have other plans? Jackson and Jennerett running. No, it's Lee and Jennerett running, and Jennerett winning the race. Bludger control and quad ball control, all in the hands of the Admirals. Riley Starr is going to get us started. Howard bringing it down the left side alongside Stars.
Already seeing that slower pace come out.
Yeah. Jennerett has a lot of space, does get marked by Kane. It's going to be kind of a hybrid 2-2 here out of New York. It's a pass behind to Generate. Generate floats it top hoop, puts it through. That slower pace didn't seem to fit New York, who really didn't seem to have anybody particularly marked. Devin Lee, the big block to get bludger control back. Lee has a no bludger situation. Gets it close to Yanko. Yanko can't come up with it. Does get beat by Burgess. Now Generate looking to run. So it is going to be finally dodgeball control in the hands of the Titans.
Where they were so successful last game, I think that this has really swung on dodgeball control.
Yep. Trina Hicks in the game alongside her longtime beating partner. But it is Burgess who has the team's one dodgeball. Trudeau has the quad ball now, bringing it down the near side. Oh, it's a pass there in the beater game. Now a pass in the quad ball game. Yanko with the wrap, enough to force a turnover. Yanko looking to run. No bludgers back. Generate beat out. Trudeau's going to be the only force in front of Lee, but he just goes across to Jackson. But Riley Stars gets a hand in there, and we've seen it so many times. Washington shutting down New York in transition has really been the story of how Washington has hung in these games.
But they've had to work for it. I mean, for someone who's been limping around, you don't want to see Tyler Trudeau diving on the ground after loose balls time and time again. I could expect to see that this might take their toll on Washington. I do love to see New York continuing to push the pace, though.
Yep. Dodgeballs do stay with New York here. Rice into the game now alongside Hicks. Another block by Lee. Stars in the lane, floats it to Generate. Generate fakes once, fakes twice around Hickmott. Now there's the high step. Tries to go around again. Hickmott, though, does get a hand on, and the shot is knocked down by Jackson.
I do love to see that both of these teams are not necessarily looking exclusively for no dodgeball engages right there. One of the proponents we've talked about breaking down zones that you don't necessarily get those, and both these teams are looking to work off it regardless.
Lee easily wins another exchange. This one's going to force no bludgers. Jackson in the lane. Jackson to Lee all by himself. Lee gets on the board. We are knotted up at 1. So easy after Devin Lee won the early exchange.
Yeah, Devin Lee just having his way on this field. Starting to look a little tired on the other end, but honestly, a tired Devin Lee might still be the best beater on this pitch right now.
But that's the thing. Devin Lee's minutes in these games, while they've been a little limited by the high energy play, have been exceptional. This time it is a trade of beats, but Tyler Trudeau, who, as we mentioned, still hobbling out there, does throw the ball away. Kane's able to at least force Rice into a mistake there as Lee makes another block and another beat. No bludgers, but Koretsky is able to force the turnover. An unforced error there by Mike Lee. Quick conversation here about the beater play, but it is definitely going to be a turnover for the illegal reset. Stars has Yanko in front of him, has 2 players behind, trying to go by Yanko. Hits the streaking Tyler Trudeau. Trudeau goes right through Lee and puts it in.
Great physical play there by Trudeau. Even hobbling, still one of the best no dodgeball options in the sport.
Yeah, and once again, Washington out to an early lead in one of these games, 2-1. Even with the dominant play of Devin Lee, they just hasn't gotten enough offensively from the Titans. Iannucci subbing in for Lee. Koretsky has the one dodgeball on the side of Washington, getting cornered and does take a beat, has to throw it back to Rice. Jackson this time says, anything you can do, I can do better, Tyler Trudeau, and puts it through right past him. We're not up at 2.
Very interesting to see sort of this one dodgeball defense from both of these teams where the beaters are still playing high up the field. Now, Koretsky wasn't super high up the field there, but definitely a little bit out of position and let Lee kind of take the engage and set the tone.
Trudeau taking his first sub. Dale Farnan into the game. Brian Mulcahy also into the game. Here comes the high press from New York. Tate K is going to get right up to midfield, as is Tessa Mullins. Takes an exchange with Adrian Koretsky that I think will get bludger control. Big hit there by Iannucci. Iannucci just strips Gaffigan. I think the initial tackle, though, might initiate a call. So I like the high press from New York, but I feel like they almost got a little too grouped in the beater game and made it a little bit harder. That said, I mean, Iannucci was going to get the turnover until they committed the foul.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is what we're seeing, right? New York is playing with the energy they play with, and if you're going to press in this, sometimes mistakes are going to happen. And what you said earlier, right? They're sort of figuring it out. They're learning. By the end of the year, I fully expect this kind of press to be fully realized.
It's going to be contact from behind called on Iannucci. A power play opportunity here for the Admirals to get back in front. The only dodgeball I see on the New York side is with Tate K on the near hoop. Gaffigan is going to slow it down, let this power play out, I think, or just hit the lane. Just hits the lane and makes the shot. That is John Gaffigan's game right there.
You said it before I could right there. John Gaffigan, known for taking space like that. Not necessarily the most physical driver, but a slippery one at that.
Yeah, Tate K wins in exchange with Adrian Koretsky on the near side. It's going to be no bludgers the other way. And Iannucci, fresh out of the penalty box, just throws one over Molly Potter's head.
I love the streaking lane that Molly Potter took there. I don't think Iannucci necessarily had to throw that early.
Yeah, definitely had a little bit more time. But, hey, it's those first game jitters, and I think it's just the fast break jitters for New York at this point. They can't seem to convert one of those to start feeling a little bit better about them.
And Washington continues to move through the lines, continues to get back in transition defense, definitely helping to hold up play.
Okay, he goes right around Potter. Okay, in the lane. Okay, he floats to Bear. Bear, quiet game one, gets the ball back up to Gaffigan. Gaffigan always looking to shoot. Gets in the lane. Can't get that one to go. And Iannucci's the only player back.
Yeah, not necessarily the look you want, but a look Gaffigan's going to take every time.
Yeah, it's been a long time since he's on Gaffigan on a true top team. And really excited to strut his stuff out there with this squad. It'll be interesting to see how they use him as the season goes along. Robbie May is going to take a beat there from Tate K, but Molly Potter is going to send the shot low. And Leo Freed, who was wearing the green headband, just leaps the beat, comes up with the pass, and finds Vinny Iannucci for the goal.
If there's one player on this New York team who is comfortable fitting those balls into tight spaces, it's Leo Freed. How many times did we see this USQ season Anna Blanchfield on the receiving end of those passes? That's what he does, and that's a great way to get this New York team back on the board.
Yeah, but now Bear has a lot of space, gets the ball behind him. Okay, he bobbles. Back up to Bear. Bear draws the attention, gets the ball to Farnan, and a huge hit from Vinny Iannucci to force the turnover.
Yeah, I mean, physicality on both ends of the field right now. You have Brian Mulcahy, one of the most physical players in the game on the Washington side, and Vinny Iannucci trying to match that over here.
And now we're starting to see, as we get a stoppage there for a goal ref to collect the ball for Tate K, we're starting to see those tired lungs from these beaters. Tate K looks drained out there on the pitch right now.
The number of long throws Tate K has made in this game that haven't panned out is definitely higher than last game.
Yeah, and you know, the turf just makes every long throw you miss feel that much worse.
Yeah.
It is, though, bludger control on his side, and Tate K just makes a block that time. Tessa Mullins forces the no bludger again. Molly Potter's in the lane, but puts it through. Molly Potter with the mid-range shot. Her third of the day.
Hey, what did we say at the beginning of this? Molly Potter can shoot. Molly Potter has been a spark plug for this New York team.
Just like that, New York back out in front, 40-30. New line of players coming into the game in the quad ball game for Washington. McConaughey and Littleton making their first exchange. Oh, it was a pass there from Nardone, but it doesn't work out. And definitely a little bit of extracurricular here in the beater game.
I mean, great catches on both ends. I know you didn't see it. Great catches on both ends by Howard and Kay there.
And it's going to be a turnover force. Yanko's looking to drive. Has no bludgers in front. Floats one to Leo Freed. Can't come up with the one-hand grab. Now hitting the lane. Now putting it through the middle hoop.
I mean, we know I've been critical of the one-handed catching of Freed in the past. That was a case where it wasn't necessarily any other option there. Still managed to comes up with it. Hits the shot.
That is 5 goals from 5 Titans to open up this game.
You'll have to see it. Spread the goals around.
Healed back in the game. Nardone takes an even exchange with Kay. It's a floater to McConaughey. McConaughey gets wrapped up by a lot. Gets it across to Littleton. Littleton fakes once. Shot goes over the top. But Melissa Smith can't pick it up as a beater, and it's just going to end up with the Titans. And now it's Frank Minson looking to run. Frank Minson just needs to get through. Rachel Heald comes off his broom and fires high.
Rachel Heald there was the last line of defense, stayed calm, did not try to reach out, make a big hit, just disrupted the play enough to prevent the goal. Huge stop there to keep the Admirals within 2.
Yep. Yeah, things are getting away from them there. That could have been a real momentum swinger. Dodgeball control, though, still with Kay, and it's a deep pass there, and the pass back up. This is a play we saw from Washington in the last game. This time, though, they can't get it to convert.
Yeah.
And now it's no bludgers. Freed the long pass to Yanko. Yanko, the clean reception, the sidearm fire. Things are starting to get away from the Admirals here in Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a little bit of beater-chaser missynchronization, I think is the correct word here. That fact that play was dead and the beater still chose to engage in that moment led to that no dodgeball fast break the other way. And if Washington continues to push and not let their beaters work, we're going to run into more of this issue.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a play on that last play you saw that they were running specifically against this high press of the beaters, just kind of spread them out. And they've had some success with it. The passes just weren't quite as clean in that game. But it's what we said in Game 1, right? Everything's coming easier right now for New York than it is for Washington.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily surprising, right? This New York team is built off of teams that want to play either in transition or in the half court. Those are your two options. And right now, it seems like these teams are fitting the right people into the right places. Leo Freed, a player who wants to play in transition naturally. Leo Freed's getting a lot of transition plays. John Jackson tends to be more of a half-court offense sort of player. They are setting up half courts for John Jackson to succeed in.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And on the Washington side, like we talked about, you know, it was hard for them in Game 1, and now as the knocks have started piling up, the physicality has started piling up, it looks even harder for them. And they have to be so precise in their passing. And, you know, when you think of kind of that precision passing and this team over the last few years, you think of Justin Cole, who's not with the team this year. And they're going to need some players to kind of step into those roles. They have Zan Siddiqui playing behind some. They have David Littleton playing behind some. Can they start to get a little bit more wing play from some of these players?
Yeah, I'd love to see them continue to go at that option, but the beaters need to be ready to engage. If they're engaging late like that, they're going to give up a lot of fast break plays when it's not necessarily successful.
First time I think we've seen neither Tate Kay nor Devin Lee in this game. It's going to be Jason Ing subbing in alongside Tessa Mullins. Could this be a little opportunity for Trina Hicks and Bernie Burgess to get something going in the beater game? Heald's going to walk it up. Siddiqui, Littleton, and McConaughey. The rest of the quad ball line. It's loose bludgers on the ground, but it's just going to be a pass. It's picked off by Yanko. Now it's going to be up to Littleton to make a stop on Yanko. Gets a loose wrap to at least slow things down, but a ripped pass to Frank Midson. And they're going to have to talk it over. But that was a great find by Yanko in transition.
And exactly what we've talked about before, right? This team's beater-chaser synchronization is off. Those chasers moved slowly while the beaters looked to engage. That led to time for the New York beaters to recover, press, force the bad pass, and allow New York to get out in transition.
Yeah. Assume the only conversation can be about that beat that came in late there, whether it was in time or not.
Goal was no good. Great beat there by Burgess at the last second.
Yeah. And again, it struggles in the half court for New York. But Bobby Potter is able to find Leo Freed, who gets ripped down by Siddiqui. But I think this one might be a card. And if it is, it's going to be a very free goal for Leo Freed.
Yeah, Siddiqui, a player known for playing hard, known for pushing the edges of physicality. I mean, you can even see here Keegan Remy Miller appreciative of the physicality in the attempt to stop the goal. In that kind of situation, you just kind of have to do what you can.
Yep. Burgess is technically in this play. Freed's able to make the mid-range shot, though, no problem. I had to mention it.
You did. And with an arm like Bernie's, that's going to happen every time.
And the ref's nice enough to get him that ball after that missed throw.
Refs have been doing a great job here of stopping loose dodgeballs rolling off on the field, especially on turf. Really, really strong job by the officials today.
It is dodgeball control for the Admirals. This is what we've been waiting for, right? An opportunity to maybe get something going against one bludger. What can they do offensively? Nobody really at the hoops. Very loose hoops defense here from Hagag and Freed. Freed is actually the one marking Littleton as he brings the ball around. Pass goes to Siddiqui. Hield was looking for a cut. Siddiqui passes it up. McConaughey, the other passing option. He's the one who's going to get it. He's got a lot of room to run. Ing steps out. Pass across to Hield, just a little wide. Not what Washington wanted on their first possession with bludger control in quite some time. And I think they might be about to lose that bludger control. No, Kerry Donnelly misses the beat. It will stay with Washington. We'll wait for a call. No call on the field. Hicks is going to push all the way back. Hicks is going to lose control, though. Ball's on the ground. Frank Minson's going to pick it up. Oh, the back, the around the back to Molly Potter. Ball's loose, picked up by Littleton. And now it's just going to be a pile up that Bernie Burgess is going to break up. But bludger control does go back to New York in that extended exchange.
Yeah. I mean, in that pressure situation, both Washington beaters pressed high, and that is going to lead to potential at-risk situations to lose dodgeball control.
McConaughey bringing up slowly against the bludger control of Donnelly and Ing. Littleton has on the near side. Koretsky now in alongside Rice. It's an exchange of beats there. Pass goes over to Generate. Generate the long pass to McConaughey. And once again, the pass is just a little off from Washington. McConaughey makes a big hit. I think that might be an advantage call. No, it's not going to be one. Hagag over to Freed. Freed back to Hagag. Nice little give and go. Hagag, the no look to Molly Potter, who finishes.
The fact what the ref is here, I heard Patrick Rardon calling this. 49 was beat a long time. Hagag was beat throughout that play. That's what this discussion is going to be about. In the fact that this call happened, this is going to result in no goal.
Yep.
A great play, though, by Hagag to find Potter in a great situation.
Yeah. So it's going to be a loose ball on the ground. I'm surprised it wasn't called a turnover, but regardless, Potter's just going to pick it up and fire. Not to be on that one. She really wanted that goal that she just got denied.
And dodgeball control stays with New York.
Rice is able to get the beat off on Ing. Does lose his glasses in the process. Koretsky's beat does hit. It's kind of oh, Koretsky! What a catch! Briefly no bludgers, but Kerry Donnelly's now back in the play. It is going to have to be a half court here. Generate working on Freed. Pass over to Stars. Trudeau looking to post up here on Potter. Definitely a size mismatch there. Generate. There's the post-up opportunity. And Potter just gets a hand in the way. Really good defense.
Yeah, I mean, the best.
Oh, but Rice is going to make the beat in the keeper zone.
The best way to prevent.
Rice tries another beat in the keeper zone. We're playing full court quad ball here, and it's just going to be no bludgers the other way. A little too aggressive, and John Jackson is going to make him pay.
Yeah, a miscommunication there. Koretsky off trying to tap Leo Freed. Leo Freed doing the famous drawing a beater play, taking Koretsky all the way to the back corner there, allowing for that free no dodgeball opportunity.
Being a little slow here. Kay was considering subbing in on injury, but I think they're not going to. But still, New York has opened up a 5-goal lead here, and it really just comes down, I think, mostly to Washington in the half court. They just don't have anything there right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're one pass away on a lot of these plays, and that one pass is either being broken up by a great New York defensive play at the last second, or they're running into issues where they're overthrowing players.
Vinny Chico enters the game alongside Donnelly. Nardone now back in the game for Washington in the beater game.
New York sitting in a wide 2-2.
Generate's hoping for some movement from his teammates. Freed is marking. Donnelly has not stepped out yet. Oh, another pass to nobody. Molly Potter looking to go. Stars is in a foot race with her. Stars is able to get in front. Potter's shot goes low, and the long beat from Nardone shuts the door.
Again, this beater-chaser missynchronization. Nardone makes a great beat there to end the play, but it required him to regain a dodgeball, sprint all the way back, and make a long 10-yard beat there to close it out.
Trudeau slowly bringing it up, down 5, over to Mulcahy. Beat on Nardone, pass behind Degenerate. High press there by Chico. It's going to clear out some space in the middle, but Christian Barnes is there. Pass across to Trudeau, and Trudeau just eats a beat from the far side. Good one there from Barnes. Neutzel first is a turnover with a hit, but Chico is there to clean up. I can't tell if the high press from Washington at this point is just frustration or an actual strategy.
It can be both, right? I think they're told there's clear indication that their chasers want to press high. How high they're pressing could be the frustration.
Nardone makes a big beat there on Barnes, but does need to beat themselves. It's a no-budget situation if Lee can take advantage. Lee across to Oliver, but Oliver can't come up with it. Generate is on her back and is able to make the wrap. Going to be a conversation, I think, on the contact on Oliver.
Yeah, I mean, New York's beaters there moving the ball really. New York's beaters engaging really well off of this beater high press by Washington. I do think that Washington maybe needs to settle their beaters in just a little bit, give them a chance to breathe, and then slow the ball down on offense for a second or two just to give the beaters a chance to work.
And Nardone's going to have to run for a loose loose dodgeball here. And I think that is going to be, it won't be dodgeball control. No, Chico is way up in the midfield. Players are everywhere. Mulcahy's kind of in between a rock and a hard place. Does get the ball across to T Degenerate, though. Really nicely done there by Mulcahy.
Mulcahy always composed under pressure, whether it's playing defensively or playing in the offensive set.
Washington's got to use every corner of the field here against the press. Farnan kind of out of help. No, Mulcahy gets just across the field again. Lee slips right over him. Mulcahy in the lane. Mulcahy's shot goes wide.
And what we've talked about before, right? Everything seems hard for Washington. They are struggling here. They have to play through a press. They get a reasonable look out of it, but a driving shot across your body is really a tough look from that situation for an offensive set.
Mike Lee now has the ball on the far side. Kind of all alone back there. Farnan makes a good tackle, and the pass doesn't go to anybody in particular because, again, he didn't really have the help. Mulcahy might consider running, but Barnes is in front of him. He's crossed half pitch, so he doesn't have the reset to use. But lots of help, and it does feel like things are slowing down a little bit out there as we get deep into the 20-minute period of Game 2. Still 80-30. It's been the scoreline for quite some time. Diana Howard and Christian Barnes taking exchange, a high floater to Mulcahy. Mulcahy gets beat. Gaffigan picks up the ball, rips one high. That's going to be a reset. Conversation here amongst the refs. Ball will go back to the other side.
Yes.
.16:45 is the time. We're a little bit ahead on our clock, but that is the official time from the score table. Jackson coming up the field. It's going to be, no, it's not going to be no bloodshed. Diana Howard back in the play. Eyeing down Phil Kane. It's actually bloodshed control on Washington's side. Oh, a big win there by Diana Howard. Devin Lee comes out of nowhere. Oh, but John Jackson's beat. Devin Lee, though, throws one back and to get bloodshed control in the same motion, just beats Julia Bear, and then beats Brian Mulcahy, too. Welcome back to quad ball, Devin Lee. I don't know how the ball ended up with John Gaffigan, but it did. The pass goes across Dale Farnan. Farnan has run out of players to pass with. Devin Lee's trying to do too much and ends up running into the quad ball. I don't even know how to do play-by-play when Devin Lee is out on the pitch.
It's a lot of things going on at once, right?
Yep, Mike Lee trying to get by Gaffigan, slips through the tackle, goes through Farnan. Finally, we get another goal on the board. It is on the back of Mike Lee, his second of the game. We get a stoppage here. Tyler Trudeau also is looking a little bit worse for wear than he even was before. This is going to be an injury. We'll swing it back to the booth right now. 90-30. How do you think it's been more about New York taking a better approach to this game, or do you think it's been a little bit more the Admirals running on fumes?
I definitely think the Admirals running on fumes has to be a part of this, but the New York team is playing out of it, right? We talked about wanting to slow down. This New York team does not want to slow down. This New York team continues to want to push the pace. Devin Lee is all over the field. We talked about earlier the idea that Washington seemed to be coming out with these quick shifts for their beater pairs. But whereas Devin has been playing very short 35, 40 second, 2-minute shifts, but just dominating absolutely throughout all of them.
Yeah, for sure. He's been such a huge difference maker. On the New York side, what I'd love to see is things get just a little cleaner in transition, right? That's where I want to see that improvement that could kind of push them over the edge. Yes, they're in very good position to take the series, but that's not New York's ultimate goal in this season, just to take this series.
Absolutely
and
not.
I think they want to see some improvement there in the cleanliness of their transition. Right now it's 9-3, though. A very nice lead for a team that made it all the way to the MLQ semifinals last season. McConaughey in the game with the quad ball on the near side. Bernie Burgess defending him without a bludger. Koretsky makes a pass this time to Burgess. McConaughey across to Gaffigan. Gaffigan to Mulcahy. A lot of space in the lane. Mulcahy shoots. Mulcahy puts it through. It might be hard, but Mulcahy is going to make it count anyway, and it is 100-40. Mulcahy's first of the game and third of the day. Lee now going the other way. Lee lobs one up in the direction of Oliver. McConaughey is going to come off broom. Bear is going to come up with it.
Yeah, and that all came out of the fact that Bernie Burgess tried to press with one there, kind of flipping what Washington wanted to do in the earlier situations, pressing with their chasers, whereas there Burgess went ahead, and because Burgess was up there in the engaged sector, it was a huge potential issue and created that no dodgeball look.
Lee's going to press high again. Washington hasn't crossed half yet, though. Now McConaughey does. Lee's finally slowing down a little bit on this shift because he's been everywhere on the field. Ball to Littleton. Burgess just tries a long beat on Lee. It's never going to land, but it's a great pass across from McConaughey to Heald, but Lee is there again. Now Armand is looking to run no bludgers. Littleton, Mulcahy able to slow him down. Going to at least stop the transition opportunity. But again, the inch-perfect passes just aren't quite there for the Admirals.
Yeah, and that one was there. Heald bobbled it a little bit, and then that gave Lee enough time to get through with that dodgeball.
Armand looking to go over the top to Balaza. Not to be. Mulcahy comes down with it.
And you can see now, there's it used to be 4 Admirals diving on that loose ball. Now it's 2. Sometimes it's only 1. And I think New York we're seeing that 4+ players swarm to loose balls, and I think that that's been a huge difference in this game.
Yeah, because, I mean, the Admirals have really been playing their top lines, just trying to kind of hang around this game. New York's actually been able to play into its depth, getting more of this lead here. They're going to be in better shape to not only to close out this game, but for Game 3 as well. It really speaks to how much the Admirals needed that win in the last one.
Yeah, and that happens a lot, too, right, in games where you give it your all in Game 1, and then Game 2 you kind of come out a little bit slower, and then the other team gets a lead, and then you're even slower.
Yep. It's a lengthy possession here. Head for the 20-minute mark. Believe we're there already.
Yes, we are.
Siddiqui with the ball on the far side. But it's deep protected beaters here, and it's just McConaughey's pass gets pulled down by Olivar, and that is going to do it for the 20 minutes. A really clean 20 there from New York. They take an 140 lead into the break.
Yeah, I think in that situation there, each Washington player only had one passing option at any given time. And part of that is due to the fact that New York was going to play a pseudo-aggressive mark up at the top there. But part of that was the Washington players just simply weren't moving. Yeah. McConaughey only had one option there, and that was on the far, our left, attacking left in Zan Siddiqui. And that was marked. You can't pass through to that. So I think that they need to, if they're going to play, they just need to play with just a tad more energy. Especially in flag runner on pitch situations, you want to get out there, you want to get going downhill, but they can't afford to trade goals.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the tricky thing, and why sometimes you can get away with playing mark right now, or at least a pseudo mark in this metagame, is that nobody wants to move anymore, right? We've all gotten used to zone defenses where you can just stand in your corner and wait for the ball. But when someone's standing on you, you got to keep moving or you're not going to be part of the play. And I think that kind of speaks to the efficacy of maybe breaking out more and more new defenses as this MLQ season goes along. I mean, we've seen, I think, a tiny bit of hoops out of DC, but I think that's really been it in terms of hoops zone so far. Some 2-2 out of New York and a lot of mark from both teams.
Yeah, I know. As soon as I saw the new rule set, I went back and drew up a bunch of interesting new defenses, but you can't implement those 3 weeks into the season, 4 weeks into the season. Those require a lot of work, and I'm excited to see what both of these teams bring out in the future, given that we've already seen such an exciting push towards more high-pressure defenses.
Yeah, and, we were talking about New York getting the opportunity to rest some of its top lines, play a little more into its depth. Leo Freed has the yellow headband on this time. Vinny Annucci got the start last time. Looks like maybe we're going to get a switch up in strategy here from New York.
Yeah, I mean, you're up 6 or 7. We'll check the score in 1 second. But in that situation, flag runner's less valuable, but still a nice 35 points to end the game. It wouldn't shock me to see if New York kind of plays their dodgeballs in the quad ball game to prevent Washington from going on a run.
Yep. And I think it's going to be Generate coming back into the game. The two played a number of games against each other and sought against each other a number of times when Generate was still with UMD and Freed was in Harvard.
Yeah, I mean, if you're... So, yeah, and TJ only needs 1 or 2 seconds. So I'm curious to see if Washington plays maybe their dodgeballs on flag runner on offense, gives it a chance.
The bludger control is with New York to start, but it's Molly Potter with the ball. Goes right by Zan Siddiqui. Really nicely done there by Potter. Potter's being patient. Generate is going to get the first opportunity, though, even though all the bludgers are with New York. Meanwhile, Zach Arbitrating goes over the top of the hoop with a shot there. Generate's getting all the time in the world. New York's beaters really got taken out of the play there, even though they are maintaining bludger control. Initial stop there by Washington. McConaughey looking to drive through. Goes, posterizes Emily Hickmott. McConaughey on the board there, and one closer here for Washington.
I mean, this is what New York can't afford, right? They can't afford that situation. They need a grab, or they need to trade goals.
Freed is now getting his first time alone with Snitch John Smutney. Big hit there by Zan Siddiqui. Does come off. I think it might end up being a card here. If it would be, it is Siddiqui's second of the game. Siddiqui a firebrand out there, but also always a little bit of a card risk.
It appears
it's just going to be an injury stoppage.
Yeah, it appears both are walking. It looks like there's going to be an injury stoppage for both. Both waiting on Balasa.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this period plays out. If we can get another stop here, what exactly New York's going to do. Because, I mean, they don't want Washington to get back into a game they have no business being in just because of the snitch on pitch period.
Yeah, the easiest way to regain momentum is to come out of a flag runner on pitch period with a really just a great showing. Yep. Right now, Washington is +1. If it gets to +2, +3, then it gets a little dicey, I think, throughout the situation.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether, you can make the argument that New York up 6 points here could have just said, we're going to spot TJ Generate 3 points. We'll maybe get 1 or 2 because our beaters stay in the quaffle game, and then we'll just end the game from there. But right now, Leo Freed is getting the time, and obviously if Freed can just deliver the catch, it'll be just about all she wrote for this one.
Yeah, but I do like to see the physicality right now out of Washington's defense. I think that's definitely going to bode well for them, regardless of what happens here.
Yep. Rice back in the game, gets rid of Freed. Meanwhile, Iannucci basically being a lead blocker on a run play there for Zach Arbitrating, who puts it home.
I mean, screens in flag runner on pitch period are a great way to get easy, good looks.
Yep. Heald chooses not to give McConaughey one here, but McConaughey just goes around Hickmott himself. Shot gets knocked down by Arbitrating, though. Got to put the hand through the hoop there.
Yeah, guaranteed looks only. We can't be taking little shots like that.
Freed goes for a dive, not to be there on Smutny. Meanwhile, Armin Trading is the no bludge opportunity, trying to go through Healed. Big wrap from Healed, but Armin Trading is just too big, puts the second one home. Goal there on the other side, Healed delivering one of her own, and Leo Freed is down on the far side. So 6-point lead here for New York. Kind of I would say, dominant game all around. At what point do you eventually give up on that secret game and just let things end? Or do you think you're exchanging goals so you don't have to worry that much about it?
I think if you're exchanging goals, you're fine. Yeah. That's what you want in this situation. Even if you just use this as a bit of training, right? There's not a lot of pair continuity right now. TK and Tessa Mullins don't play the USQ season together. The last time they played together was the prior MLQ season. You want to give them as much time as possible now in this situation if you can, even if it results in something like trading goals.
Yeah. And the thing is, ultimately, when you have Zach Armin trading on your team, you're going to be very good at trading goals in cinch on pitch. He is off the field now, but you know who else is very good at trading goals cinch on pitch? John Jackson. He lofts one over to Molly Potter, who puts it through. I believe that's 3 now for New York. They just need 3 more or a grab to put this series away.
And you love to see that from John Jackson, not taking unnecessary hits to score, finding the easy goals.
Yeah, and Jason just goes right to the point there, gets around Smutny, delivers the catch. And it is game if it counts. It is series if it counts. Head ref Brett Curtis and snitch John Smutny discussing it.
Yeah.
The catch is good, and that will end this game and this series. New York takes the 2-0 lead. Don't get me wrong, Game 3 definitely still matters, but a really dominant performance there out of the Titans.
Yeah, and how far and to be clear, Game 3 mattered last year. Game 3 could still very much matter this year.
Yep.
I think that this team, Washington, kind of came out a little hot in Game 1, came a little bit back down to earth in Game 2, and I think what we saw in Game 3 last year is they rose up, they got better. I think that's the case. In this situation, though, what I think is very interesting is kind of the difference between the 2 flag catches in this series. We had TJ Jenner, who got maybe 2-3 seconds tops, got the grab. We watched a couple of great grabs in that game from him get called off due to last-second beats by New York. New York realized they couldn't give 3 seconds anymore. However, New York it took them a while there. It took them a couple of situations to do that. I'm interested to see if, say the game is tied in Game 3, I think that favors Washington in the flag runner game, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of TJ Jenner getting a little bit more time, right?
Yeah.
Because it really has favored New York so heavily. He's just caught in the small opportunities he's gotten. Player I really want to highlight in that game, though, scored the last goal, though it wasn't the game-winning goal. Molly Potter, on both ends, we talked about how she was going to have to step up with the absence of Lindsay Morello for New York. I thought it was a great performance from her, offensively, which we always know we're going to get from her, but defensively as well.
Yeah, when you have the mismatch in size that Tyler Trudeau's there, and you do the right thing, you don't try to play the body, you try to play the ball, and you break it up on that cross path. When the game was still kind of in the balance, Washington was only down 2 or 3 at that point. A goal there on that situation where Washington realizes that and maybe goes back to that, they never went back to that play again, and that's due to the stellar defensive mind that Molly Potter was in that moment.
And then, but that said, the MVP of that game was Devin Lee. Devin Lee is playing out of his mind right now.
Doesn't look like he's taken 9 months off at all, right?
No. And I sure hope someone in that Washington Admirals huddle is saying, you can't keep throwing beats at Devin Lee from 10 feet away. He will block every single one.
It's reminiscent of the Mario Nastas of the world, or the Kyle Bullens of the world, except Devin Lee is all over the field all the time and still making these blocks. I think that Washington needs to stop taking their sort of first throw engage mentality right away and maybe faking a little bit. But if the Chasers aren't going to give them the time to do anything more than throw immediately, they're in for a long Game 3.
Yep. So that's going to do it for our Game 2 call. We will be back for Game 3 in just a few minutes. New York with the dominant win to put themselves up 2-0. But like we said, the last one matters, and it's going to come down to who has anything left to put out on the pitch. We'll check back in a few.
Quadball is a sport that integrates aspects from rugby, basketball, and dodgeball to create a fast-paced, mixed-gender game that features 7 players per side. Okay, so quadball is played on a grass or turf field with 3 hoops of varying heights on each team's half. There's 4 balls in quadball, 1 quaffle, and 3 bludgers, and the players run with brooms between their legs and must complete all the play while on broom. If a player comes off broom at any point, they have to tag the center hoop on their team's half before resuming play. Alright, so there's a lot of different positions. The first 2 are chasers and keepers, known together as quaffle players. They use the quaffle, a slightly deflated volleyball, to try to score through their opponent's hoops. There are 3 chasers per team, and they wear a white headband, and there's 1 keeper per team, and they wear a green headband. The keeper is only different in they can't be interfered with in their team's keeper zone, which is an area around the hoops when they possess the quaffle. On offense, all 4 players move the quaffle by running and passing and shooting to attempt to score. A good goal can be scored from either side of the hoop, and it's worth 10 points. On defense, players can tackle each other, and we're talking full contact to prevent the other team from scoring. Beaters, distinguished by black headbands, use the bludgers, dodgeballs, in attempts to knock out the opposing team's players. Each team has 2 beaters at any given time. A player of any position that is hit by a bludger thrown by the opposing team's beaters must dismount their broom, drop the ball they possess, and tag in on the center hoop before they can rejoin play. Beaters help their quaffle players on offense to clear paths to score, as well as work to stop opposing teams from scoring. Okay, so seekers, the ones with the yellow headband, pursue the snitch runner in an attempt to grab that snitch tail from their shorts, kind of like flag football, in order to earn 35 points for their team. They don't enter the game until after the 20-minute timeout, and they leave the game immediately after a good catch has been recorded. The snitch runner is an impartial official whose sole purpose is to prevent the seekers from catching their snitch tail. They can grab, push, wrap, or run away from the seekers to stop them from catching the snitch. The snitch runner comes onto the field after the 20-minute timeout and stays until they are caught. Quad ball is played in 2 halves. The first consists of a timed 20 minutes, and the second ends only when the set score gets reached. During the first half, the quaffle players and the beaters work together to score goals and stop the other team from scoring goals. When the game clock hits 20 minutes, there's a 2-minute timeout, and that's when the seekers and the snitch runner get introduced. At the same time, they're going to determine the set score. It's determined by taking the total of the leading team's score and adding 60 points. The set score gets indicated on a scoreboard, which will be separate from the game score, and whichever team reaches the set score first, either through only quaffle points or with the addition of that snitch catch, win the game. Quad ball is a sport that integrates aspects from rugby, basketball, and dodgeball to create a fast-paced, mixed-gender game that features 7 players per side. Okay, so quad ball is played on a grass or turf field with 3 hoops of varying heights on each team's half. There's 4 balls in quad ball, 1 quaffle, and 3 bludgers, and the players run with brooms between their legs and must complete all the play while on broom. If a player comes off broom at any point, they have to tag the center hoop on their team's half before resuming play. Alright, so there's a lot of different positions. The first 2 are chasers and keepers, known together as quaffle players. They use the quaffle, a slightly deflated volleyball, to try to score through their opponent's hoops. There are 3 chasers per team, and they wear a white headband, and there's 1 keeper per team, and they wear a green headband. The keeper is only different in they can't be interfered with in their team's keeper zone, which is an area around the hoops when they possess the quaffle. On offense, all 4 players move the quaffle by running and passing and shooting to attempt to score. A good goal can be scored from either side of the hoop, and it's worth 10 points. On defense, players can tackle each other, and we're talking full contact to prevent the other team from scoring. Beaters, distinguished by black headbands, use the bludgers, dodgeballs, in attempts to knock out the opposing team's players. Each team has 2 beaters at any given time. A player of any position that is hit by a bludger thrown by the opposing team's beaters must dismount their broom, drop the ball they possess, and tag in on the center hoop before they can rejoin play. Beaters help their quaffle players on offense to clear paths to score, as well as work to stop opposing teams from scoring. Okay, so seekers, the ones with the yellow headband, pursue the snitch runner in an attempt to grab that snitch tail from their shorts, kind of like flag football, in order to earn 35 points for their team. They don't enter the game until after the 20-minute timeout, and they leave the game immediately after a good catch has been recorded. The snitch runner is an impartial official whose sole purpose is to prevent the seekers from catching their snitch tail. They can grab, push, wrap, or run away from the seekers to stop them from catching the snitch. The snitch runner comes onto the field after the 20-minute timeout and stays until they are caught. Quad ball is played in 2 halves. The first consists of a timed 20 minutes, and the second ends only when the set score gets reached. During the first half, the quaffle players and the beaters work together to score goals and stop the other team from scoring goals. When the game clock hits 20 minutes, there's a 2-minute timeout, and that's when the seekers and the snitch runner get introduced. At the same time, they're going to determine the set score. It's determined by taking the total of the leading team's score and adding 60 points. The set score gets indicated on a scoreboard, which will be separate from the game score, and whichever team reaches the set score first, either through only quaffle points or with the addition of that snitch catch, win the game.
And we are back for the final game of our series between the Washington Admirals and the New York Titans. The Titans taking back-to-back games here to threaten the sweep. It would be the first sweep of the Admirals since the 2021 season. Nick, if the Admirals were going to find a way to turn the tide, where does it start?
It starts, I think, with beater. I know I said it a lot, sound like a broken record, but beater chaser synchronization has to be better. There were so many of those fast break goals were given up just because the beaters went in a second too late or the chasers went a second too early, and that threw everything off, and then you're scrambling in transition. Now, granted, their chasers did get a lot of stops, and their beaters made a lot of great long throws to save some of those transition goals, but not enough of them to keep that game competitive.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking at these sidelines, you know, New York looks a little looser. They look a little healthier right now. Obviously, the energy is going to be more positive. That's just a given the 2 wins they've already managed. But it's really going to be interesting to see can and where do the Admirals find something out of the tank for this game.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see some more of those field switching passes that we saw throughout Game 1 that seemed to work a little bit better, and then they kind of forced them in Game 2. I'd love to see them take a second, force New York to play a bit off in defensive end, and then flip the field.
Yeah. And on the New York side, I mean, we talked a lot about how this is just a stepping stone for what this team's hoping to accomplish. I think a lot of people have them pegged as one of the best two teams in the league alongside that absolutely terrifying Austin squad down in the South. And I think kind of continue to clean things up, make those transitions a little cleaner, have a few more ideas in the half court will all be important. Like we said, they're a little healthier. We saw that Leo Fried injury late in game 2. I think he's going to come out and play still, but it'll be interesting to see how they handle things.
Yeah, and one of the best ways when you're a bit more beat up, a bit more tired to take this is to just take a second, breathe, find an easy goal to get the beginning of the game. This team can pass. We've seen this team pass. It didn't really show itself that much in game 2. If they can come out and sort of fit those tight corner passes into those windows a little bit early to start the game, that'll do a lot for this team.
I think starters are about to come out on the field. It's been overall a clean series and a well-fought series, but like we said, there was just a little bit more in the tank for the Titans in that game, and the Devin Lee explosion really was the storyline. What answers will the Admirals try to throw at Lee? He got the start in the last game. We'll see if he comes out to get the start again. It seems like Tyler Trudeau is going to get the start again. Maybe going to give up the green, but I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, I mean, you need a win. You want to win. It's not the end of your season if you lose here, obviously. But a win does go a long way, like they saw last time.
Yeah. And it looks like Koretsky's going to get the start here. The youngest member of this Admirals squad, I believe the only member that played for a college team this past season. And really, I think a strong performance all around from them so far in the first 2 games.
Yeah, Koretsky, a longtime veteran of the Boston Forge practice squad during their time up there during the summer, where they attend Brandeis during the USQ season, and a star long listed for that team for a long time. I think that they have just – it's the same last year. Heather Farnan came out, had to sort of get up to speed on the MLQ speed, and Devin Lee is 100 miles an hour out the gate. I think that we'll see them sort of settle in and continue to play well for this team this year.
So we do see the adjustments. Dale Farnan is going to come on the green headband, and seeing Gaffigan on the sideline of the green headband as well, the day might be over for Tyler Trudeau. Farnan's going to start keeper. It's going to be Riley Stars, Julia Rankin, and TJ Jennerett as the Quaffle players. Beaters, Adrian Koretsky, and Bernie Burgess. Run up, it's going to be John Jackson getting the start, pushing back to Emily Hickmott. Mike Lee and Yanko, the rest of the Quaffle line. Phil Kane and Devin Lee starting with dodgeball control, as well as the starters in the beater game. Mike Lee walking the ball up, tries to get in the lane, gets it across to Hickmott. Hickmott absorbs the tackle, up to Jackson. Jackson trying to go by Jennerett, eats a beat from Burgess. They say he got it off in time. Burgess, though, misses the one to Yanko, and Dale Farnan with the effort play to come up with a loose ball.
That's what wasn't there for Washington this last game. Those diving on loose balls, those fighting to make things happen.
And Bludger Control went to Washington in that play as well. They get their youngest beating pair in now in Rice and Koretsky, see what they can work with Farnan bringing the ball down. Very different look from this Washington team, but hey, sometimes that's what you need. Stars with the ball on the near side. Mike Lee steps up. It's going to kind of be that hybrid 2-2 once again from New York. Ball to the far side with Rankin. Rankin back up to Farnan. Stars gets pressed by Lee, floats one up to TJ Jennerett. Jennerett's a lot of things, but he's not tall. Devin Lee wins a double jump catch exchange with Adrian Koretsky to get back Bludger Control and create a no Bludger situation, actually. Jackson's going to bring it down. Kane is just ushering him in. Jackson in the lane. Mike Lee gets the freest goal of his career, and it's New York on the board first.
I don't hate that, though, from Washington. I mean, Devin Lee, obviously, in a class of his own right now on this pitch. But Washington was more patient. Washington took their time, and when the option wasn't there, they delayed the fast break opportunity, and it took a Devin Lee elite play to force that option.
Yeah, it feels like Washington just never found the right half-court options to the defense that New York's running. Right now, Riley Stars going to try his chance at it. John Jackson steps out. It's back to Rankin and up to Farnan. It is going to be a chance to press here. Koretsky is taking time into the play. Farnan kind of knows that he's got to go. Phil Kane's hesitating to throw. It's a long, high pass. Yanko's going to come down with it. Robbie May has the beat blocked, I believe, and the ball goes back to John Jackson. Lee, again, runs over a defensive play.
I do want to speak. I think Farnan made a great play there to delay rather than just throwing it away. That allowed Washington to get dodgeball control out of this situation.
Mike Lee's shot hits off the tee. Yanko gets beat. This could be an opportunity for Stars. Oh, it's a missed beat by Devin Lee. We have not seen many of those. It's Stars in the open field, gets it to Generate. Generate around Hickmott, puts it through the top hoop, and we are level at 1.
Huge energy plays there. Meanwhile, Devin Lee does what he does best and gets back dodgeball control for the Titans.
Yeah. Finally, though, maybe a little bit, you see Lee finally walking a little slower. It's been long by his standards to shift here. He beats Koretsky here, eats a tackle. Hickmott gets the ball off. It's going to be, Lee gets beat. Robbie May is able to go high because Lee was pressuring on the other side. Stars has none back again. Stars across the far end, but Lee was sitting right there.
This energy, though, from the Washington Admirals, though, they were playing with high energy, high pressure, something we kind of saw them give up a little bit of in Game 2, but they were being patient earlier to start in this offense. I still like the fast break there. I think you do have to slow it down, though, when you see both dodgeballs coming back into the play.
The question is really, do they have the depth right now to keep running this high press? Tate K now into the game. Devin Lee takes his first sub. Potter in for Hickmott. TJ Generate, a big wrap on Yanko. TJ Generate looking for the ball. Robbie May gets to run up there free because at the same time, Melissa Smith was distracting both New York beaters. And that's another beautifully forced high-pressure turnover from Washington. And now it's chaos because Tate K came running into what was a kind of a broken play. Robbie May and TJ Generate just not reacting fast enough. Zach Garman training with the free goal.
Yeah, and one of the things we talk about, right, is always looking for work. Robbie May kind of took a step back after making that tap beat, took a deep breath, and that's really hard to do against a beater the caliber of Tate K.
So 2-1 the score now. K and Mullins looking to press high here on this possession. Gaffigan with the ball in hand. Burgess trying to take an exchange, can't do it. Loose ball's flying. Littleton has the ball on the far side away from the Bludgers, but the Bludgers come back, and it's going to be another pressing opportunity for K. Pass goes to Gaffigan. Gaffigan doesn't have a lot of space. Potter gets a good hand on. Oh, it's a great look to Littleton. They're really doing a great job against this press. Littleton's shot goes wide, though. They're going to have to talk about it. Not a great angle for the refs on that shot.
Yeah, and Littleton is famous for that little push shot. That's a hard one to judge from all angles there. Whether it went through or not, that's not for us to decide. But I do like this ball movement, though. They are slowing it down. They're spreading out. They're making the beaters work a little bit more. You can see TK hands on knees already a minute into his shift.
Yeah, and it seems like the priority right now in the lines that Washington is running out is that everybody can ball handle and everybody can move the ball, because I think they're being realistic about the fact that New York is going to get. I believe that was a good goal.
That was.
New York's going to get those press opportunities. You got to find a way to break them. Vinny Iannucci tries one to Potter, but Bernie Burgess is back in the play.
Exact same play as what just happened there with Devin Lee on the other end on that fast break for Washington.
So Littleton hits that one to nod us back up at 2. Littleton's first goal of the day. Mulcahy now in the game. Like we said, Gaffigan is taking that second shift at green. I really am not sure we're going to see Trudeau in this game. Oh, Molly Potter just takes one off of Julia Bear. Oh, but it's Brian Mulcahy who comes up with a loose ball. Arbitrating goes down. Mulcahy rips from a tight angle. Gaffigan floats one up. Mulcahy has it behind. Rips it over to Gaffigan. I think Julia Bear actually might have moved that hoop out of the direction of Brian Mulcahy's shot.
Unfortunate opportunity and a great trade there by Burgess to keep the no dodgeball pressure a little bit more safe.
But then Mullins wins an exchange. It's not going to actually change things because the ball is just going to roll to Burgess. So it's going to be a half court here from New York. K is going to take a sub. Ing, the hero of last game with the game-winning grab, now in for the first time at beater for this game. Iannucci with the ball on the far side, working on Rankin. Ing just taking free beats on Mulcahy. Once the pass to Yanko, gets it. Yanko in the lane. Yanko hits it off the rim, and a huge hit from Mulcahy on Potter. That should end that possession. How many times have we seen a New York shot off the rim?
How many times have we seen a shot go off the rim on both sides?
Yeah.
Both teams playing on the edge of the game here, and it's showing in the number of goals missed.
Gaffigan now bringing the ball up for Washington. No, he's going to take a sub. McConaughey into the game. Neutzel into the game as well for the first time. Burgess and May, the beating pair. Burgess clears Potter off a bear where she already almost first one turnover. McConaughey over to Neutzel. Really nice ball movement, but Mo Hagag shuts the door behind the hoops. Chance to run, possibly. Burgess is back. Ing is running out in front of his chasers, though. Big beat there by Burgess. And then Bear gets beat as well. McConaughey picks it up. Leo Freed strips McConaughey. McConaughey gets the wrap, though, back on Freed, and Freed's able to get over to Iannucci. Iannucci has a huge head of steam. Iannucci puts it through the near hoop. 3-2, New York. Just aggressive play all around here. McConaughey walking it up with a 30-20 lead. May ushering in, but it's another high press. Ing, though, loses an exchange. Nardon's able to get budget control. And now it's a no-budget situation, but that pass was to nobody unless Molly Potter was the one who knocked it out. The refs are going to have to talk about it. But again, Molly Potter just up in the passing lane. A huge performance from her on both sides of the ball.
Yes, absolutely. We will have an inbounds for Washington, it appears, in this situation. A no dodgeball situation brewing. However, in terms of options, I don't see a huge number from Okega.
Tries a pass to Neutzel. Frank Minson able to do just enough to knock it out, and it's going to be Minson coming up with it. Minson looking to run all the way. McConaughey, the only person in front. McConaughey can't make the stop. Frank Minson flirts with the tee one more time, but this time it's a friendly one. 4-2 Titans.
Game not out of hand yet. Dodgeball control with the Admirals. Rachel Heald, a scoring phenom in game one, coming back in. Let's see what happens.
McConaughey bringing it down. Littleton in the game as well. McConaughey in the lane. Has Mulcahy as an option. Hagag stepping to him. Has Littleton behind. Mulcahy just rips a shot. That's a tough one to get to go. And it's another lost possession with blood sugar control for Washington. I feel like they could just be getting a little bit better opportunities given the blood sugar control.
Yeah, I think swinging that back there to Littleton for the little push shot that he hit earlier in the game is definitely the move in that situation, especially with how quickly New York is crashing to the wing.
Oh, it's a wafted pass to Freed. Freed comes down with it. Potter to Freed. It's another goal for New York. Things starting to get more comfortable here.
So let's see what they do on this offensive possession. Down 3 now. It's getting a little dicey in this game. The way they need a goal here to claw back into it.
And again, they have blood sugar control, but I feel like they're not using it to its fullest effect. Nardon's currently the one trying. Chico makes a good wrap on him. His ball goes loose. Siddiqui, though, wrapped by Potter. Siddiqui, a bad pass. Littleton is able to come up with it. Littleton's going to have a chance here. Working on Hagag. Tries to slip one through. It goes right through Frank Minson's hand, but Frank Minson just alters it enough. And, oh, the pass, though, up is picked off by McConaughey. And now it's Freed finally just come up with a loose ball. How many of those chaos possessions have we seen? Oh, it's not over. Nardon's pressing now. But Donnelly's going to get forced back to hoops. Hagag's looking to run. There's no bludgers suddenly in the play because Melissa Smith had to go off broom. Potter tries to come up with one. Siddiqui's able to do just enough, and McConaughey comes up with it.
We talked about Molly Potter being the one to tip the ball at the last second there. That time it happened to her. Great positioning, an excellent last-second play by Siddiqui.
But again, the question becomes, what can Washington find in the half-court offense? It's the place where, seemingly with or without budget control, they cannot find a goal right now.
Yeah, Potter back on Siddiqui. I'm curious to see if they look to work on that.
Yeah, this is kind of the Titan zone with the triangle in one right now.
Yeah.
Oh, pass up to McConaughey. McConaughey can't get it to go.
I do like that little cut there. I think that there needs to be a distracting cut, or the beaters need to engage at that point. It can't just be all 4 quad ball players trying to make plays off of that option.
Minson bringing the ball down. Washington's been able to stop the score. Oh, did that hit for Minson? No call on the play. Rice is going to get the inbounds. Oh, and a wild pass. Washington, while keeping bludger control, has at least stemmed the bleeding when it comes to scoring, but they need to find some goals. Dale Farnan now back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen that first throw hard engage? They're not closing with their feet anymore, and this is part of the thing that we talked about in game 2 with just some tired legs out there. They need to be closing down, forcing those players to make passes. This New York team has proven time and time again they can dodge and block from that distance.
Farnan with the ball on the near side. Gets it to Siddiqui. This is the place where the Admirals have just been a little short. That's the pass all the way across to Littleton. Oh, Littleton wants that one back. I think that was the kind of look that they've been looking for. Chico, though, might be able to... No, he won't be able to get bludger control on the exchange. Rice made that one look nice and easy. New York still has... Oh, Barnes is going to be called clear. That might mean bludger control, depending on where Rice is on the play. Rice is way up the field. Rice is going to be able to just take bludger control right back from Barnes here. It's no bludger for a while. Can Littleton make something happen of it? No, Freed's in the passing lane. Just been a really weird few minutes of quad ball.
It absolutely has. I think a lot of near misses, a lot of close passes. Dodgeball control for the Admirals has really seemed to stem the flow of goals on the offensive end for the Titans. However, it's not really leading to offense for the Admirals.
And Devin Lee's trying to change it right here. Does make a block there. That will be bludger control, even though it will be another stop for... No! Oh, big play by Rice there. Oh, Lee got that beat off at the last second. That might have saved bludger control.
Yeah, I mean, what more can we say about Devin Lee in this game? Been playing absolutely out of his mind this whole series. High mark coming out here. Really high mark coming out here from the Titans.
Beater Julia Bear coming out here from the Admirals. Got to find something. Devin Lee, though, eats her right up with a tough beat there. Farnan, though, is going to get no bludger opportunity. Gets hit hard. TJ Jenner's first to the ball. TJ Jenner puts it through. We finally have another goal in this game.
I mean, that's what happens when you press high like that. If you lose your one-on-ones, you're going to lead to options there. The Washington Admirals did a great job of taking advantage of the fact that New York had to crash to Farnan, and TJ Jenner getting the offensive rebound leads to the goal.
John Jackson gets one to Lee. Jenner with a spinning tackle. I think he might have even gotten Lee off brim there. No, he was off brim himself. Rankin now looking to make the hit on Annika Kim. This one's going to get a foul out. But again, tough defense from Washington. If they haven't necessarily made their stand on offense, but they've at least found a way to make their stand on defense.
Yeah, something I'm a little worried about from the Washington side, though, is they're throwing these dodgeballs at players in non-dangerous position. First, it was with Minson out wide on the wing. Next, it was with this dodgeball throw to the back corner here. They're not scoring they're not in scoring threats necessarily. And when you're playing with only one, that's a potential recipe for disaster.
Jackson has the ball up top. It's going to be a no bludger opportunity. Stars tries to get in the way. Oh, but TJ Jenner gets in the way at the hoops. John Jackson misses a second time. And this is going to be a contact from behind here on Gaffigan. So it's going to be 2 in the box for Washington. And I think it's safe to say John Jackson's probably going to put this one through.
You know, Minson scored that one off the tee earlier. New York continues to play this dangerous game of not wanting to put the ball through the hoop.
Yep. But this time it probably will be a goal when all is said and done. I think John Gaffigan might have surprised himself more than anybody that he went in for that contact.
I mean, John Gaffigan sort of reversed the contact on both ends of the ball. They're a great hit, though. A little bit illegal, but does force the stop there.
Yep. So Jackson's going to put this through, get his team back up 3, and it's still going to be a power play in their favor because only one player will be released. Gaffigan did try to be the player released, but it is Rankin. Two fouls on that play.
We've all been there. We've all been there. I don't know how many cards you've gotten in your life, Ethan, but we've all been there.
Riley Stars, a nice slow possession here, but here comes the press from Kane. Goes over Generate. Generate's beat as well. Burgess was behind him, though. Gets the play on Lee. Once again, we have absolute chaos in the middle of the field in the beating game, and that's what this rule set is doing. Bear is behind the play. Bear is trying to track down Jackson. Jackson has to throw it back. That's going to be a turnover.
And that's what we just talked about, right? Closing down with your feet leads to these opportunities. By not letting Jackson make the dodge or block there, it created the turnover.
And it's budget control, too, for the Admirals. A really huge sequence, all started by the great Burgess catch on Lee on the far side.
You know, these high presses are sort of reminiscent of that old NYU press that we saw where their two beaters would play up high. I mean, Frank Minson, a veteran of that program, I wonder if he went back in the tank for that.
Stars bringing the ball down. A big hit on the far side. Burgess and Kane go down. Burgess is going to force no bludgers. Ball gets deflected, though. Nitzel's going to be there first and gets beat by Kane. Jackson comes up with it.
Lee with a kick beat there misses, but does result in dodgeball control for the Titans.
Burgess doesn't like something about that interaction, but there's not going to be a call, and budget control will be with New York. Lee wrapped up hard. Pass over to Arbitrating. TJ Generate goes flying at Arbitrating, does just enough for once again the rim to be New York's greatest enemy.
That goes down as a block in my book. I heard contact. I don't know if there was. I heard contact for Generate. Generate right now might be leading the league in blocks.
Just trying to kill another press here from Lee as the rest of the team gets down. It's a smart throw there by Generate to the far side. Gaffigan. 6-3. Definitely this game is a token of just how much energy these two teams put into games 1 and 2.
Absolutely. A much slower paced game. A much slower paced game.
All the bludgers are on the ground. Stars has a ton of room to operate on the far side. Shot goes wide. Hill will be there first. Gets wrapped. Tries to throw it, but to nobody in particular, it will be New York ball. Lee bringing the ball down quick. Gaffigan in the way. Lee tries to hit the lane. Two-handed pass to Yanko. Yanko throws low, not to be. Generate's going to track that one down.
By keeping it within 3 here, Washington is doing a great job of holding onto the rope a little bit. They're not letting it go. They're not letting this game get out of hand like they did in Game 2. A quick grab from Generate, and they're right back in this.
Yeah. And there's only been 2 goals in approximately 7-8 minutes of game time at this point. It has been a very, very quiet Game 3. McConaughey back in alongside Littleton, Healed, and Siddiqui. We just hit the 18-minute mark of play. Littleton, the deep pass, looking for Siddiqui, not to be found. I think one thing that's been tough for the Admirals is they've been playing a lot of shorter players behind the hoops. Really makes those passes need to be precise. As Zach Arbitrating is considering a no bludger, but Nardon's going to get back.
Yeah, I have a point on that after this play, but we'll let this play out.
Yeah, Lee zips one to Yanko. Yanko floats one back over the top. Lee has it. Lee across to Arbitrating. Arbitrating's just going to settle it down behind the dodgeball control of Ing and Barnes. Pass over the top to Yanko, just not to be. Sloppy possession there.
And a mistake here by Jason Eng that's probably going to cost them dodgeball control.
But yeah, going back to your prior point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily that they're playing shorter players behind them. It's that those shorter players are stationary. The ball has to go up and then come down on top of them. Whereas Zan Siddiqui, we've seen make those backdoor cuts time and time again. There's a lot of open space on the back side of this New York zone press. I would love to see Zan Siddiqui make an off-ball cut there and hit the ball in stride, and then I think the goal will come.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these players on the Washington side, I mean really on both sides, haven't played together for all that long coming back from the USQ season. Littleton considers a cut, gets it across to Siddiqui. Siddiqui over to Healed. Healed up to McConaughey. McConaughey tries the far shot, can't get it to go. That would have been a really nice late momentum shift if the Admirals could have gotten that one to fall.
Yeah. We just passed the 19-minute, 30-second mark.
New York with the timeout here. I think they want to figure out how they're going to play this out because it's an interesting situation. They have that 30-point lead, but right now Washington is nursing dodgeball control.
Yeah, if there's anything here that New York needs to get back into this game. They're leading by 3. To really sort of put their emphasis on this pre-20-minute mark, it would be a goal and control. If they can get both of those things, that's an excellent end to this 20-minute period for them. If they can get one of them, that's still a pretty good end. Going up +4 is a big deal in this situation.
Yeah. And, meanwhile, on the sideline over here, it looks like TJ Generett might be cramping up. We know Tyler Trudeau is probably not going to be going in at Seeker in this game, so it'll be interesting to see how that might affect things. We see Emily Hickmott might be in a yellow headband as well, so maybe some changes in flag runner strategy going into this Game 3 situation.
Yeah, I don't know if I love this timeout by New York, but I certainly like it. I think it's a good idea here to give them an opportunity to make a big impact heading into the 20 minutes.
Still 6-3 here.
We are still, to be clear, pre-20 minutes.
About 26 seconds left according to the quadball.1 app, which if you cannot follow a game on the live stream, I highly recommend checking out. It's honestly, I'd say the best way to follow a live quadball game that's ever existed.
Yeah, I mean, live streams are great, but if you're out and about, this is a great way to check in on it. It's akin to some of the many bigger apps you see for other pro sports.
And meanwhile, over in the North Division, Toronto just won its second game of the day over Cleveland. 2 hotly contested tight games. They'll be going to Game 3 probably a little later than us. So if you want to tune in over there for the end of Game 3, all of our streams this year are on YouTube, nice and easy to find. And then 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, we'll have our nightcap with the San Antonio Soldados facing Kansas City Stampede in what should be an absolutely awesome game. 20-minute mark has been hit. Mike Lee gets it over to Oliver. Oliver coming in off of the wing and puts it through. And that really felt like a called play that the coaching staff saw something of in the huddle.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what we talked about in the back there, right? Rather than catching the ball stagnant, they're catching the ball on the move in dangerous position. There's not much you can do from that position as a defender, especially in a zone like that, if you're not breaking up the pass.
Yeah, and just, tired feet make flat feet, and flat feet are not good for defending cutting passers, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know you and I definitely had a bit of a flat feet syndrome playing in our sport, in our day. But these players, the earlier portions of today, had not had that. We've seen it a little bit in this one right now.
Yeah. So like we said, it'll be interesting to see if flag runner strategy changes at all. We saw Leo Freed go down in the Seeking game. Not sure if we'll see him again. We know Tyler Trudeau is a little banged up. We know TJ Generett's a little banged up. That said, Jason Ng is ready to go, has already delivered a catch on the day. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a shot here on John Smutney.
Yeah, and I think something that we underplayed again this year is the depth of this Titans squad. We talked about how this Washington team is deep. This Titans team, no one is letting go of it. There's no one giving up those easy possessions to this Washington team. They clearly have a group mindset, even if some of their players are showing up a little late in the start of the season.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's clear that both these teams have a lot of room to grow. They seem eager to make the most out of the strategy opportunities the new rule set has given, but they just haven't had a lot of time to work together. I mean, this East Division, like it always is, it's going to be competitive. We know what this Boston team is going to bring to the table in terms of their beating game. We know that Charlotte's never going to be a pushover in this division. So, a lot of growth, a lot of work to do in the months to come, regardless of the results here. It will be Hickmott getting the start at Seeker for New York. And TJ Generett will be staying in the Seeking game for the Admirals. I believe the only Seeker they've had so far on the weekend. We get started with play here. Tyler Trudeau is carrying a yellow headband, but I would be surprised to see him sub in if I had to be honest. McConaughey bringing the ball up, trying to work off a heeled screen. Seekers are released. TJ is going to get time right out the gate, but TK does clear. Heald gets it to a cutting Littleton, who gets it across to Neutzel, who puts it through. I really like what we saw there from the Admirals on that no-budget situation.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to play, that's how you want to play snitch on pitch, right? Drive till right before the contact, make the pass.
Generett trying to get a minute there, but not to be. Oh, no, it's going to be missed. And I'm not sure the snitch. I think the snitch just recognized that Generate is still on. Hickmott only being used as a defender. No, now considers an attempt. Littleton gets a wrap on Jackson. Yanko trying to hit the lane. Yanko pumps once. Yanko shoots once, puts it through. That's a 1-1 so far in the Seeking game. Generate spinning around on Smutny, but does come off Broom. Bear, back in the beating game, clears Hickmott. Mullins and Kay comfortably with bludger control here.
Yeah, a lot of what we saw in game 2.
Big beat there by Kay. Long range on Bear.
Big dodge by Generate. 2 big dodges by Generate.
Nutzel tries to get her second, not to be, but Farnan comes up with the rebound. Might be some contact from behind there. No call yet. Nutzel can't get it to go. And now another hit here from Stars. We have a pile up, but that will eventually favor New York at the 10-second mark. No, it's just going to come out. Arbitrating with a head of steam. Not an easy player to stop. He's going to go end-to-end and put it through. Hickmott taking her opportunity now with Smutny. We get a stoppage. I think it might just be a quick injury timeout. New York needs 4 more here. Washington's still 9 away. But yeah, I mean, a really good first step here from New York against a very feisty Admirals team who definitely had their chances in game 1, but have maybe just been a step off the pace in games 2 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that's going to have to learn how to carry that energy through, because when they're playing with that energy, they look phenomenal. They will need to learn to bring it into games 2 and 3 and learn how to play long series.
Just a quick injury sub. Oliver walks off on her own power. Mahler Potter subs into the game. Generate trying to work through the battery of the New York beaters to minimal avail. Nutzel has the ball here, zips it over into the corner. Rankin comes up with it. Rankin's going to get wrapped by Jackson. It's probably going to be the end of that possession there. Meanwhile, it's just Generate getting nowhere near. Koretsky tries to take an exchange with Kay. Kay makes the catch. Ing is now into the game, looking to finish. Was called clear. Assume the 10 seconds have just gone up in the quad ball game. Yes, it is going to be John Jackson's ball. Ing getting time now. Flag runner tail does come off. Kay wins another exchange with Koretsky there. Oh, Ing shooting far there on Smutny, but eats a beat. Jackson driving through, just has Dale Farnan fall right off of him, puts it through 100-40.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson is the kind of player you want in a flag runner on pitch scenario. Absolutely.
Generate's finally going to get some time, but not very long. Tessa Mullins makes the beat.
Julia Bear back in the chaser position now, looking for maybe a little bit more scoring opportunities here.
Heald has the ball in the middle, gets wrapped by Iannucci, dropped to the ground. I think we're headed for another 10-second count. Meanwhile, it's just continued dominance out of the pair of Kay. Oh no, it's finally going to be bludger control. Well won there by Adrian Koretsky.
Just a 10-second count over here, I believe.
Yeah, out of this stoppage might be an opportunity for TJ Generate to make a catch.
Yeah, I mean, this Washington team, after we saw a great first offensive possession for them, are sort of passing into bad scenarios, I think.
Definitely making it harder on themselves, which has been this kind of the story of the game. Generate considering a 50-50 there. Sometimes you got to take some risks when the game's kind of getting out of control like this. Rice actually able to, I think, do enough in the Quaffle game to force the turnover. Oh, Molly Potter just put it right through the legs of Rachel Heald, but nothing came of it. Ing's going to have a chance to catch here. A lot of time. Oh, that looks like a grab. That would be 2 for game winners for Ing.
You know, when you bring your beaters into the quad ball game like Washington did there, you do have to take some of those risks, and sometimes you got to do it. The New York was scoring back and forth on this. If this is good, that's a great sign for New York going forward.
Yeah, the catch is good. The New York Titans with the sweep and 2 dominant wins, to be clear, down the stretch in games 2 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that we thought would take some time to mesh. they don't seem to need that time to mesh right as much as we thought we did. They're moving, they're grooving, they're doing all the right things.
Yeah, we thought maybe Devin Lee would take some time to get up to speed. We were pretty wrong on that account as well.
Yeah, 100%. So, Ethan, a 3-0 sweep for the Titans, a comfortable 2-game end for this. What do you think this means for the rest of the season for Washington?
I don't know how much it ultimately means for Washington. I mean, it means that their series against Boston is basically for all the marbles. Washington does not want to be back in the situation where they were last year, in third place, having to play all morning on Saturday, and then having to play a quarterfinal against Austin still on Saturday.
Yeah.
So they just need to – ultimately, this game is not do or die for them, right? Being second place in the East Division, it doesn't have as much value as being first place. Don't get me wrong, but it has just about as much value. They need to just put their heads back down, get to work, take this Charlotte series, try to take this Boston series, try to get second, and then make things happen on day 2 of MLQ weekend.
Yeah, this is a team that has a lot of potential, that came out great in Game 1. I think it's just about carrying that through to Game 2 and Game 3. If this is a team that can continue to cook through their lines as well as they did, continue to push the pace, then they're going to make a lot of teams make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to do it for us here on the series of the week in the East Division. As we've mentioned, New York Titans taking the sweep. We recommend you switching over right now to Game 3 of our North Division matchup between the Cleveland Rift and the Toronto Raiders. And then don't miss tonight's game under the lights in San Antonio, where the Kansas City Stampede will travel there looking to beat the Soldados in a regular season series for the second straight season, something San Antonio is not looking to have happen to them on their home pitch. I'm Ethan Sturm, alongside Nick Jablonski. We thank you for watching. We'll see you next week for our series of the week, Boston versus Charlotte up in Beantown. Take care, everybody.